Ooh, man, it's been quite some time. I had to stop streaming for a little bit there. Welcome to Fluffy Sexy Bitches, and welcome to tonight's stream where we will read some SCP. Yes. We couldn't do that last week because the wiki dot was down, which also meant that I couldn't read my 914 experiment for a couple of days, and then I couldn't do it again because my parents came to visit, since we had to do some important stuff together. But now we're back at it again with SCP reading. How y'all do? That is not the one that was supposed to pop up. I know why the display capture is here, but that's not the one that was meant to happen. How y'all doing? Here we go. Hold on, doesn't it usually show? There she is. And here's the SCP. Alright. I lost a profro. No! Baby, come back, please. Probably it's because like it was a gifted sub, so the person the sub was gifted to didn't resub, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I can survive without another sub. I don't know what that sound was, but it definitely wasn't healthy for my throat because that. Okay. I would say without further ado, shall we start reading? I'm gonna listen to some stuff here, and you guys have some beautiful lo-fi going on in the background. I don't know, ever since like last year, I started, a lot of times when I start reading, I like having ASMR on. I used to be the kid who, when I read, I had music on, and I still do sometimes. But sometimes you just get into the song a bit too much, and then you stop reading, and then you scan the words, but you don't really like take them in. And now I realize that this is not fully the right position. But you know what? You guys know what I mean, right? Like there, now you can see my new pillow. The one I got from Comic-Con was such a cool pillow. But yeah, so, and Henry's also there, of course. He always will be with us. Unless I go to Switzerland, then he won't be with us for a while. But yeah, like I used to like listen to music when I read, and then I stopped, and I also stopped reading for a long time. And now whenever I read, I just like having ASMR on. I don't know, something about just having white noise. It's just comforting while reading. Probably because again I did start reading with music on, so just accustom myself to have something running the same time while I'm reading. But here we go now. We're at the 970s. We were supposed to be past this point from the last weekend. If last weekend wasn't the case, we would have been now at the 990 instead of 970. So we have actually gotten to the tickle monster, which I know that's a famous one. But yeah, sometimes stuff like that happens. Alright, so here we go. The recursive room. What? I know what the word recursive means, but now I have... I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I would know... characterized by recurrence or repetition. Yes. You know those moments when like you're 100% sure you know what a word means, but at the same time, somewhere in the back of your mind is like, you might not actually know what it means. And then you're like, uh-oh. But yeah, reoccurring, right? The meaning of recursive of relating to evolving recursion, not to use. What does this say? Of relating to evolving recursion. I always find it weird when they're like, when it's like, yeah, let's use the word that you're looking up again to explain the word. Of relating to or constituting a procedure can repeat itself indefinitely. Ah, that's why that picture is here. Because this can... Yes, okay. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Because it's like, as you can see from the... where that is, here we go. Yes, because this picture, this can repeat itself so many times and still show the same exact image. And you can yeah, okay, that's what I mean. So in this case, the recursive room. So it's a room that is like repeated over and over and over again, and somehow visually, even though there's multiple rooms of the same room happening, in the same spot, same rooms, multiple rooms of the same room, if you ever were to step away from it, the entirety of like, let's just say there's like a block of 4 rooms, and all these rooms look the same. But then if you look at it from the entirety, those block of 4 rooms, visually, it's like a giant block of room that looks exactly the same as one of the smaller blocks. So it's just this like really weird sensation of like, wait, this should not be working because like it doesn't make sense. At least that's what I assume. It's a strong rated start. Okay, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Gambare. Yes. Didn't know if that worked or not. Euclid. All sites affected by SCP-970 are to be acquired by the Foundation with a suitable cover established. Civilians attempting to enter the site are to be discouraged, preferably within the boundaries of local law. Trespassers are to be administered a Class A amnestic. In light of Experiment 04 and Addendum 970-2, armed personnel are to be stationed by entries into affected sites. Description: SCP-970 is a spatial phenomenon wherein a collection of rooms are looped on themselves. So yeah, but it's a spatial phenomenon. It's not a visual. It's actually happening. In all cases found, this is by means of a series of doors appearing in the walls, all in a straight line, such that it is possible to walk towards and end up at the starting position. Basically, PT, if you think about it, you just constantly go in a circle, even though. From like the I mean, I'm thinking PT like the sense of geography or architecture, because in PT it's like this, right? It's like you enter the hallway like that, and then you go like, and then there's a hallway this way, and then when you enter the door over here, let me just move over here a little bit. When you enter the door over here, you end up over here again. So it's kind of like a square situation, except that it's now I said out loud, but it's not really fully true. Although maybe it is, because like you have the starting hallway, and then you go to the curve, and then there's a door, and then that door leads to the stalling hallway, and then there's a curve, and that leads to. So it is kind of like a giant square. But in this case, it's just straightforward. Another example would be Grave Encounters, the first movie where they want to leave, and then they open the main door that would normally lead to the exit, but then it just led to the same hallway that they try to get out of from the beginning to begin with. So I think that's how I try to imagine it. So it's kind of like PT or the Grave Encounter situation, or some other horror films that do the same thing, or in different ways or better ways. The alteration into the rooms does not affect neighboring rooms and floors. There is a set of yet no known explanation for the appearance of this phenomenon. -1 is a cell block within Sector 19 and the first example of the SCP-970 phenomenon encountered by the Foundation. It was constructed with the intent of housing Class D personnel and fulfilled that purpose until when several D classes breached containment. In an escape attempt, the investigation into the incident led to the discovery that a series of doors had appeared in the cell block, leading into rooms on the opposite side of the corridor. It was quickly established that the layout of the building did not support this addition, and that the rooms were following a non-standard geometry. Since the incident, further such examples of the phenomenon have been discovered, with % of these in an 800 kilometer radius of Sector 19. One notable example was found within the western wing of Legislative Palace. In this instance, the Foundation was unable to acquire the affected site, and local authorities proved intractable and hostile when recommendations on security were made. The matter was resolved 6 months later in a violent coup, which saw the destruction of the building, resulting in expulsion. I got a little bit of a burn right here, like a blister. I assume it's like some sort of inflammation right here. So when I talk, it constantly bumps my lip against the teeth, so it just hurts. Was eventually contained by Mobile Task Force Row 8 Empire 1, supported by the rebel forces. Experimentation log for SCP-970. Okay, let's read those experimentation log, shall we? So I hope everybody's okay with the fact that whenever I see a D-970-294, I'm not going to read this because it's just the SCP number again. So I'm just going to say whatever the other number is, because I understand why they do it. It's supposed to be like a D class that's only meant for that specific experiment, because I know now by that certain D classes go to the different experiment, but it looks like this one is just specifically meant to be for this one. But there's no need to read these numbers, right? So oh yeah, just stop checking. So D-294 was given a head-mounted camera and instructed to walk through the doors of -1. Subject expressed doubts as to the possibility of the phenomenon, but followed orders. Subject successfully navigated the rooms, expressing alarm and surprise to discover himself at his starting point. Video footage and internal measuring. Oh hey, my drops. Video footage and internal measuring devices show that the subject did not deviate noticeably from a straight line, but nevertheless emerged on the other side of the corridor. The anomaly is confirmed. This experiment was intended to provide a baseline for comparison with other experiments, though given the single property of the phenomenon, I'm unsure as to how we will be able to test it, Dr. Young. Okay, that's the first one. Now we have D-295 was instructed to repeat the above instructions for as long as he felt able. Water and food were made available, and the subject, excuse me, that was the coke. Were made available, and the subject was told that he was to stop only when either instructed to or upon reaching exhaustion. Coca-Cola, by the way, not cocaine. Subject showed a normal appetite for the exertion and continued for 205 iterations, whereupon the subject reacted with confusion on fetching his water. He claimed that researcher Taylor had previously had black hair, whereas she now had blonde hair. At no point during the experiment had Taylor dyed her hair, and colleagues claimed that she had the same hair color for 9 months. Taylor admitted that she had considered coloring her hair black the previous night, but chose not to. Examination of the subject recording indeed showed Taylor with black hair until the 205th iteration. On further examination, other small differences between iterations were noted. The experiment was called to immediate end. Okay. I take it back. Further testing is necessary, Dr. Young. Okay, here we go. Oh, now we have the big boy text. They waited. They were waiting. They were like, yes. Let's wait till he sees this. D296 was given a chipped card containing the following items of data. A 16-bit pseudo-random number called datum that was German. The final score of a football match that finished 20 minutes before the experiment began, called datum B. Maybe because datum, like it's like datum, but datum means date, as in like the days. So yeah, so that just, I think that just frazzled my brain a little bit. The morning DOW Jones index called datum C, a 5-day weather forecast for the continental United States from 2 days before called datum D. A scanner was erected by the west door to record the data that has the subject walked through. 296 was once again instructed to repeat the instructions to experiment 01 for as long as he felt able. Datum A. See, my brain just reads and just thinks datum R, but then of course it doesn't make sense because the rest is in English. So I don't know why my German brain just like, here I come. Ow. Datum A diverged from its original value of the first iteration as expected. Datum B first diverged from its original value after 24 iteration, with the range of deviation extending with successive iteration. Here the experiment was paused briefly. It is recommended for future researchers that they ensure none of the colleagues have an emotional investment in the match. At 76 iteration, the first unpredicted event occurred. This iteration of the card featured a length node in addition to the data presented and an alternative definition of datum B, the score of a women's basketball game. The researchers' data had previously suggested this for datum B, but had been overruled by Dr. Young. See above note on emotional investment. The iteration of D296 presented at the time did not wish to comment further on the incident, as he had been similarly interrogated for 10 successive iterations until the previous Dr. Young put a note on the card. The scanner was reprogrammed to add notes to the end of each card. Note from Research Assistant Boston. Dr. Young initially encountered technical problems with the scanner, prompting researcher Taylor to go and fetch someone who knows what he's doing. At which point he walked through the doors to the previous iteration, returning with a second Dr. Young. The original Dr. Young proved unwilling to be assisted, leading to a row between the two doctors, which was only exasperated when a third Dr. Young emerged from the next iteration, complaining about the whole slow pace of the experiment. The disagreement was eventually broken up by security, who mandated A, the reprogramming of the scanner by the second Dr. Young, and B, that all staff remain in particular iteration to avoid confusion. At 157th iteration, an unidentified man appeared in the place of D296. The man was immediately restrained according to security procedures. Analysis of the notes on his card indicated that he was in fact D296, and that in its original iteration a different D class had been allocated to the experiment. D296-1, as he will now be known, showed signs of bruising, allegedly from multiple enthusiastic restraints during this experiment. Dr. Young provided a cardboard sign to hang around his neck, reading, "I am authorized to be here, please read the notes." D296-1 showed gratitude. And datum C first diverged from its original value after 234 iterations. Datum D did not diverge within the span of the experiment, 371 iterations. So, how does this... This is very fascinating. Does that mean, is he stepping into alternate timelines, or is he stepping into a time in the future, a time in the past? Because this... Remember, like what Taylor said? Taylor said she thought about dyeing her hair black, but she didn't. But then he met a Taylor that has dyed her hair black. And then later on, someone with a Taylor with blonde hair. So, does that mean he's went to a different timeline where he met a Taylor who decided to dye her hair black, or to a so like a divergent timeline, like a different reality, or a future time where Taylor changed her mind and then did dye her hair black? This experiment established that as the number of iterations increases, the point of divergence from our own iteration lies further in the past. So it looks like further in the past. So yes, so past times of people and then different realities of the past, basically. Okay, gotcha. It also shows the wisdom in planning any experiment involving SCP-970-1 sometime in advance to ensure that all nearby iterations are working from the same basis. In addition to this, the incident noted by research assistant Boston shows that the neighboring iterations remain consistent throughout the period of interaction, Dr. Young. And here's not one last experiment. This is a very fascinating one. I'm glad they're taking this whole looping room cliche, because let's be honest, now that we had PT, because I'm not sure when, let's actually check, when was this written? History. Let's check. When was this established? Attacks, okay. Revision, but this is the 9th revision, so this it is actually older. 2011, new SCP 2011. When did PT come out? 2014. Okay, so this guy. So here's the thing. From where we are now in life, stuff like this is nothing new. The idea of the room in being repetition, and then always having a different iteration, something else happens, something pops up that didn't happen before. That's nothing new anymore. But back then, this must have been really awesome to read, because it was like fresh, it was new. And then PT came out, and probably the guy who wrote this was like, oh hey, this is like my idea, or something similar. I'm pretty sure even before PT came out, there were other games that did it, other horror movies that did it. But I'm just saying, this guy decided to make an SCP out of it, and it was still like something like untapped. But nowadays it's like almost everywhere. Okay, experiment 4. A robotic probe was programmed to recognize and open the doors of -1 and fill it with a camera. Recharging facilities were made available in the corridor to be automatically accessed when the probe was under 5% charge. The camera was fitted with a locking chip, resonating with a computer in the corridor in the first iteration. This experiment differs from experiment 3, as it intends to relay information to the first iteration, whereas experiment 3 passed information down to further iterations. The film displayed approximately 600 hours worth of footage, approximately 2 iterations. Analysis of the recording has shown the following iteration to be of note. 213, the first immediately noticeable difference, Dr. Young is wearing a red tie. 704, Research Taylor is absent, does not appear again until 1061. Research Taylor appears, but her identity pass declares her as a doctor. Redacted. The research team appears to be under attack. Dr. Young has been shot in the chest. Redacted. The research team has half disappeared. The wall is covered in blood. The following symbols can be seen in the blood. Expunged. Redacted. The research team expunged. Facial features. I do not believe that anything can be established by further experimentation. Addendum 2. Following a nervous breakdown, researcher Taylor has been admitted to the psychiatric ward. Other members of the research team have undergone similar though less severe reactions. The footage from experiment 4 is believed to be the cause of the problems, and all affected personnel have been administered class B amnestics as part of their treatment. Experimentation on SCP-970 has been ceased for the immediate future, and the security on affected sites have been upgraded. And it makes sense that people were having a bit of a freak out, because think about it. They technically witnessed different versions of themselves going through different versions of death, perhaps. Or it's just in general, like seeing so many different versions of yourself, living either similar or different lives, for worse or for better or worse. That definitely has a toll on your psyche. Where is, here it is. Okay, I like that idea. That was cool. That was very dope. Exotic fast food delivery. So it's like the Outback, where you can eat crocodile meat and ostrich, but it's fast food style. But what if the exotic part is not any animal from our planet? What if it's fast food delivery that's alien? Okay, 222. It's safe. Yeah, I guess you have to call them up to make it delivery. So As long as you don't do that, the SCP won't be active. SCP-971 is to be kept in its labeled file folder and locked in file cabinet 26 inside 19's file vault when not being used for testing. Keys to the booth, the file vault, and file cabinet 26 are held by one on-site senior administrative members, and access to SCP-971 for testing is to be allowed only with explicit written permission from level 4 personnel or higher. Due to potentially harmful environmental impacts, testing of SCP-971 may not be scheduled more than once a week. Instances of -1 have no special properties other than their mode of delivery and may be disposed of normally. SCP-971 is an old and worn delivery menu printed on a standard sheet of 21.6 centimeters by 28 centimeters or 8.5 by 11 inches printer paper. The name of the delivery service is listed as Quick and Ready Meals. Okay, no records of such businesses exist, and the parent company named on the menu denies ownership of said food delivery service. The menu lists the company name, a phone number, 1800, and several different foods items, each preceded by an item code. The food items are typically fast food items, including hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken fingers, soda seasoned fries, and carbonated beverages, all with brand sodas. The menu features no pictures or prices of the food, and the typeface and design are both minimal and simplistic. So far, nothing odd yet, but that usually is because the second paragraph will then be like, take a look of this. Watch this. Henry, hold my hand. Henry, please. When holding SCP-971 and calling the phone number listed, the call will be sent to an automated menu system. Note: calling the same phone number without holding the menu will send the call to help desk for redacted software. The phone number listed on the menu corresponds to the company listed phone number for the help desk. The automated menu will prompt the call to input the item codes for the food they desire, and then for the credit card number to pay for the order. Once item codes and credit card number are input, the automated system will tell a caller the total price, thank them, and then disconnect the call. The caller's credit card will be immediately charged for the total price of the order, plus the local tax rate for the prepared food. The price for order made with SCP-971 are always comparatively lower than prices for other popular fast food chains in the caller's current location. Okay, so it's cheaper. Again, nothing odd. Nothing odd except that you have a very specific way to trigger it. Nothing odd yet. Once the call disconnects, about 15 or 20 minutes will pass. Afterwards, a paper bag with Quick and Ready Meals logo designated -1 will appear near the caller. Okay, now here we go. -1 almost always appears when all potential observers' attention in the vicinity is diverted elsewhere. So basically, the moment everybody else is looking somewhere else, I can look this way. Everybody else is looking straight ahead, to the side, down, up. As long as this left side right here is unoccupied from views, it's just remote video observation of -1's appearance has been reasonably successful, although not particularly informative. -1 simply appears instantaneously with no visual indication of its method of delivery. Just instant transmission. Just there it is. There's just a mini Goku inside of it, just like ding! Holding on to like the bag. Okay, let me just get to there we go. Okay, let's go over the back, and I just escape. -1 will contain the same item chosen in the phone menu, and all items will be cooked and prepared to normal food safety inspection service health standards. Aside from the method of delivery, the only other anomalous feature of the food delivered is the undefinable meat used for the listed burgers, sandwiches, and other meat-containing items. Are you sure about that? The meat used in the food is from an unknown source and tends to be a bit tough and gamey. Simple testing has proven that it is not from typical beef or chicken stock, and personal D1282, convicted on multiple counts of cannibalism, verifies that the meat is not human. More rigorous testing of SCP-917 sample has been improved. I can't believe they got a cannibal to be like, "This is human meat." Tell us, man, is this human meat or not? And he's like, no, it's not. The meat used in the food is from assorted animals on the EEC endangered species list. Don't. stop ordering. Further DNA testing on the meat has well as reports of sudden weight loss and muscle mass loss in animals from several zoos confirms that meat from pandas, cheetahs, red wolves, and several other species recognized as endangered. Stop. There's wolves and wolves, okay? If a wolf gets endangered, you gotta stop, okay? Otherwise, I'm gonna come by and I'm gonna smack that menu out of your hand and shove it up your ass. How does a red wolf look like? Ah, yes. Beautiful. Oh. Look at that. Fucking gorgeous. Oh, little puppies. Little pups. Little pups. Well, red wolves are beautiful, but not my I think from like my wolf ranking. I mean, I'm just a sucker for gray wolves, man. I'm just a sucker for gray wolves. Like yeah, just the shape of like how the fur looks and all that. I think something about that just hits right. It just looks good. Gray wolves are. I mean, of course, don't forget about black wolves. Now this is power. Look at that. Damn. Okay, enough looking at wolves. Yeah, stop it. Currently, all meat tested for meals at SCP-917 provided, did I say 917? I mean 971 provided are from animals that are commonly known endangered species to the general public, not the more esoteric endangered species such as the equatorial dog-faced bat or the Oklahoma cave amphipod. The food does not seem to cause any compulsion to eat it, nor does eating the endangered animal fast food meals cause any overt physical harm to subject eating it, save for the high fat, sodium, and calorie counts associated with fast food. The menu itself causes no compulsion to use it over other fast food menus in our blind testing and has shown no ability to teleport or reproduce when left alone. Occasionally, other copies of SCP-971 are found outside of the Foundation control, as scanned and printed copies of SCP-971 have the same abnormal properties of the original. These copies have to be confiscated and destroyed due to the lack of mimetic effects or mobility from SCP-971. This SCP is considered safe and requires only minimal containment procedures. Any further testing with SCP-971 is on hold due to possible harm to endangered species and due to minimal data gathered during testing. Okay, I can fully see that some people in this world would look at that and be like, I would love this because I would have the most luxurious and most expensive of meats. But again, it's done in a fast food way, so it's not like high quality meals. But also, I can see some people be like, yeah, I would like to try a panda, and then just eat it. It's just fucked because the animals are definitely in danger from this SCP, and people will not know why. People will just find out eventually after a while, like, so yeah, it's odd, like, our red bear just fucking fell over, and when we brought it to like the crematory to cremate it, she felt so light, and then we found out she was missing meat. Like a lot of her flesh was just gone. Like inside, we don't know how. You know what I mean? Like it would be so confusing for anybody who's in zoos or in wildlife protecting animals and all that, and then just finding out that they're just missing a bunch of just muscle and meat and all that from inside of their body. Immunity, well, shit, that could be anything. So I assume it could be a human being that's just immune to a lot of damage, fire damage, toxicness like poison, lightning. Just immune, just doesn't die. But in the same time, we already have 682 for that. He's already like he's not immune to damage. Like he's just immune to death. That is basically it. But I'm not sure how like I would categorize this one. Like immunity could be a lot of things. Immune to bacteria, immune to poison, immune to physical damage, piercing, gunshots, anything like that could be the case. Who knows? Euclid. SCP-972 is to be housed in a standard humanoid containment chamber, so it is a human. Requests for additional furnishing or amenities are to be submitted to Dr. Loof, and may be granted so long as they do not violate Foundation security protocols. All personnel physically interacting with SCP-972 must pass Infectious Disease Protocol, Foundation SOP 89B, prior to working with anomaly. Any and all contact with SCP-972 should take place in a manner that limits potential vectors of disease transmission from -1. Should physical contact be deemed necessary, all personnel should don Class 5 infectious hazard gear to limit potential spread of -1. SCP-972 is a human male of Turkish descent, formerly known as Ahmet Osman, approximately 23 years of age, standing 1.75 meters in height and weighing approximately 130 kilograms. Damn, he's shorter than me, but he weighs 60 kilo more than I do. In most respects, SCP-972 demonstrates baseline human qualities, with a notable exception of his mutualistic relationship with -1. -1 is an anomalous double-stranded DNA reverse transcriptase, a dsDNA RT virus that most resembles members of the Hepatnaviridae, which is also family of viruses that include hepatitis B. Okay. -1 has an uniquely limited natural host range that is believed to solely consist of SCP-972. -1 possesses a unique reproductive life cycle that enables it to remain in nucleocapsid form for long periods of time within the host cells of SCP-972, essentially enabling it to remain dormant for long periods of time without being degraded by the host. The presence of -1 has been found in nearly all cells comprising SCP-972, with the sole exception of germline reproductive cells, in example sperm, indicating that -1 is capable of using nearly any somatic cell type within SCP-972 as a host. Further, -1 reproduction occurs upon host cell contact with non-infected somatic cells, causing the proliferation of -1 within the original host cell before the virus is released onto a new host cell, resulting in its infection. SCP-972's primary anomalous effect triggers upon infection of SCP-972 by foreign viral or bacterial agents. In both cases, SCP-972-1 is believed to act in order to eliminate hostile foreign infections and preserve the host cell in question. Upon contact with bacteria during infection, -1 causes the host cell to overstimulate lysosome activity, creating hydrolytic enzymes that rapidly destroy all phagocytized bacteria. A similar mechanism of action seemed to occur during viral infection, which result in destruction of infectious viral particles. The means by which -1 is able to recognize hostile activity is unknown. -1 has shown the capability to recognize and destroy anomalous viruses such as those created by SCP-1242, indicating that its recognition method is non-mundane. Okay. So -1 is basically just like a force field for SCP-972, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, the consequences of -1 anomalous activity is such that SB972 is effectively immune to unknown forms of infectious disease. Any introduction of infectious disease to SB972 results in complete destruction of the disease within a period ranging from 24 hours to 1 week, depending on the reproductive potential of the disease in question. During this period, SB972 experiences minor symptoms found in common disease such as elevated body temperature, reduced appetite, and overall lethargy, but otherwise demonstrates no symptoms of the specific disease that it was infected with. This guy just doesn't get sick then. Like he can feel a bit fever, like a bit hot, and maybe not as hungry, but it seems like in general he's just fiddling around with the microphone. But in general, it seems like he can just, never get sick. Okay, that was that. I'm just gonna give it another ASMR right here. Has she done anything new? She has indeed. So here we go. Letting that play. Acquisition report. SB972 came into Foundation custody on the 5th of June 2016 following a joint operation with the UIU that raided a martial collar and dog facility that had been housing SCP-972 and a number of other humanoid anomalies. Of course, it's martial collar and dog again. Numerous files pertaining to SCP-972 were recovered during this operation, the relevant contents of which have been trimmed and included below. Author Jonathan Barker, date June 5th, 2000. Oh, it's this way. Looks like okay, so the 6th of May. No, I don't know. I'm just going. Whenever I see this cover number, I just go assume that this is the month right here. God, come on. That this is the month and this is the day. It's, day, month, year. The way it makes sense for me. So, okay, June 5th, 2008. Interest high. Identifier. How do you say this actually?
Panacea. Panacea.
Panacea. Okay. Thank you. While scoping out other merchandise, I came across this particular specimen, which I think might be our golden goose. He's immune to any kind of disease that we can toss at him, with no side effects that we've been able to find so far. Biology department has done their work on him and found that he got some existing virus in his blood that prevents any disease from affecting him. We're conducting research to see whether or not this carries over to people who receive a transplant of his blood. Initial results are pretty promising, and the biology department is revving up the test, so they should have full results soon. More importantly for us, and you're not gonna believe the luck on this one, the kid's got O negative blood. If we milk this cash cow right, we could be swimming in revenue for decades. How many people you think will pony up for a vial of blood that can kill any disease? Hell, we got plenty of clientele who will probably pay a pretty penny to get rid of their worst habits, if you catch my drift. By the way, I want to donate blood. Do they? If you donate blood, do blood donors get wait, you know what? Because how to find what blood type I am is by giving a blood test. You can ask your healthcare professional to check for your blood type during regular blood testing, or you may find out this information when donating blood. There we go. There are even at-home test kits you can purchase. At-home test kits? What? Because I have been dying to know what my blood type is. I don't think I will do a home test kit. I'm not sure about how I feel about just what time am I? And then I don't understand what it is. Oh, I see. So that's how it works. It depends on like the pattern you get to find out. Okay. So I know that O is it? Wait, here it says he's O negative, which is the best one, right? Because that means you can share your blood with anybody. I just want to know what my blood type is. I should arrange like a quick, like, just check what it is. Okay, that was file open on the Panacea 8.1, whatever. But that's, yeah, that was, okay. Send research update 1, sender instead of author, sender Jonathan Barker, recipient Malcolm Jones. Initial tests are giving us the green light for mass production. Our first buyer, who signed waivers out the ass for the privilege, had been on antiviral therapy for HIV for about 10 years. One transplant of Panacea blood later, and he's cleared of the disease in a week. Biology department is already working round the clock to figure out the minimum amount that we need to transplant to each patient, as well as the most efficient production schedule that we can run with the specimen. So what color do you want your new car to be, sir? Starting to do some shopping for mine. They're literally just using this poor human being as a cash cow. Research update 2, sender Jonathan Barker. Okay, we've worked out the position and minimum dosage that optimizes our production schedule. Extraction 3 times a week, with a rest period of a week every 2 months. It's about the limit that the biology department thinks we can feasibly run without too much wear and tear. We already got about 100 orders on record and it's barely been a week. P.S. You were right, Elizabeth loves the electric green. Great choice. I can't. That is so fucked. They're literally. Wait, hold on. Extraction 3 times a week, with a rest period of a week every 2 months. So let's just say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they just come by and just extract as much blood as feasibly possible. Otherwise, how much blood can you extract? How much blood can you donate? How much blood can you donate? How much blood can you donate? The procedure is safe and relatively painless. Doing a regular donation will give around 470 milliliters of whole blood. It's about 8% of the average adult's blood volume. The body places this volume within 24 to 48 hours and replenishes red blood cells in 10 to 12 weeks. I mean, it's almost half a liter. So that's you're donating like this amount of blood. But these guys are probably taking a bit more. Also, now we just read it takes a day or two for them to get the blood back. So let's just say Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday pause. Thursday, Friday, Sunday pause. Friday, Saturday pause. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday pause. So on and so forth. But it's still, you must be. This guy must be so exhausted from all the blood that's just constantly. And then 1 week of nothing in a month. So after 9 days of getting yourself fucking drained by these guys, you get finally 1 week of pause before it just goes back to the beginning. Ah, man. Sender Dr. Rishikesh Sharma, recipient Malcolm Jones. This is research update 3. We're shutting down Panacea. Brock got a little over eager and pushed it out faster than we would have liked in the biology department, but I guess dollar signs were too much to resist. Panacea does its job admirably in terms of eliminating hostile infections, but the problem occurs when the viral load approaches a tipping point in a new body. We know that the virus eventually spreads to almost all of the cells in the body, as we saw from the original specimen years ago, but the issue occurs in all hosts that are on the original specimen. The virus won't quit replicating. We're not sure why, but the virus continues to grow out of control in all of its new hosts until the point at which the host cells start bursting to the overabundance of viral particles. This kind of occurs slowly over time or all at once, and let me tell you, the results are not pretty. Our first buyer had to be scooped to the morgue in jars. The rate at which this occurs is variable in hosts. Some hosts can live for decades without any problems, but in others it starts showing signs within a few years. Moreover, it is not just his blood that transmit it. We've seen the early signs in some workers we think and came into contact with his saliva, meaning that there are a lot of employees who need to be tested. Once word of this gets out, nobody's going to trust our products anymore. We have to shut it down now and bury the evidence before this fully bites us in the ass. I've tapped the original specimen for disposal. He's already in transit to the dump site. Damn. Yeah, so it looks like they pumped out so much. They just pumped out way too much out of this poor man, and then later on they found out, oh shit, he's actually not that great, not that 100% solid of a medicine than we thought he was. And I can only say it's your own goddamn fault. Smoking. So what could this be? Maybe just a puff of cloud. But no, puff of smoke, not cloud, because cloud is made out of water vapor. You have a puff of smoke, just walking around, just going bye with the sonic music. You know which one I'm talking about? Fucking. just walking around, going. Camera action. Just walking around with the beat of this music. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay, Euclid SCP-973's nature precludes it from full containment within the Foundation. Due to the danger it presents, the 60-kilometer stretch of U.S. route on which it is known to manifest is to be under satellite surveillance at all times. Any vehicles attempting to travel the designated section of highway between 22 and 430 are to be diverted to the detours at exits and by Foundation personnel. Trespassers are to be forcibly arrested and detained if the need arises. SCP-973 consists of two entities. -1 is a police cruiser resembling those used by state troopers in the early 1970s. The vehicle appears to be in an advanced state of disrepair. Eyewitness accounts have consistently mentioned large dents in the doors and hood, a heavily cracked windshield, heavy rusting, and a loose rear bumper secured with duct tape. -2 is reported as a Caucasian male in his late 40s wearing a state trooper uniform dating from the same time period as -1. Subject is described as balding, slightly overweight, and having a handlebar mustache. SCP-973 will manifest at night when another vehicle enters the designated territory and is believed to be triggered by the target vehicle accelerating over a certain speed. This limit varies, with the average being in the area of 88.5 km per hour or 55 miles per hour, but it can range anywhere between 53.3 km per hour or 35 miles per hour and 112.7 km per hour, which is 70 miles per hour. No predictable pattern or connection between the differing limit has been found as of yet. When this limit is broken, SCP-973 will appear approximately 0.4 kilometers behind the target vehicle and will chase down the target at high speed with the siren flashes on. This is accompanied by a looping message played on the target's radio consisting of the phrase "Run!" In % of the cases, the target will flee with SCP-973 in the pursuit and will be overtaken in 1 to 6 minutes. At this point, the remains of 34 individuals and 19 vehicles have been found within 6.4 kilometers of affected roadway. The range of damage done to bodies includes evisceration, rape, and 3 cases where the body has been damaged by the impact to the point that visual identification was impossible. Jesus! 5 survivors are within Foundation custody, all suffering from varying degrees of mental trauma. The recovered vehicles showcase heavy impact damage, both environmental and inflicted, and severe burn damage to the interior. Destroying the roadway affected by SCP-973 has proven ineffective. The demolition of part of State Route in 1983 led to SCP-973 relocating itself to its current position. And in Addendum 2, the 8th 2000 attempted to capture and contain SCP-973 fails, resulting in the death of 9 agents. SCP-973 is believed to be wounded, but is not incapacitated. Reappearing 9 days later, first-hand accounts indicate a change in -2's appearance, as shown in this excerpt from the post-mission interview of Agent. Agent, I can't really say. He just looked different. His eyes were red, I remember that, and his mouth was just this black hole. No teeth, no tongue, just a hole. I was too busy shooting at him to get a better look than that. That is creepy. That is creepy. Addendum 3, SB-973's area of effect seems to be expanding, as does the window of time that manifesting occurs. Security protocols have been adapted to this. Ugh. So it's just this. You know what this reminds me of? Like the fucking. I can't believe I have to look that up. Actually, probably not a good idea to look it up. Let me, at least not on here. Let me look it up on a different page. That doesn't show, right? It doesn't show. Yes. Yeah, her. Let me find like. Let me. Oh god. Okay. Hopefully I don't accidentally. Hopefully I don't accidentally do something stupid. Yeah. Yeah, almost there. Come on, where is it? I can't really find it. Yeah, can I have this open without, you know, accidentally showing something that will get Twitch on my ass? There we go. I think this is the best way to do it. Please, let me just see. Does this cut to something else? I don't think it does. Okay, good. Okay. Let me just. God damn. So, I was thinking of this, but of course, eyes red. But like from the mouth wise, I'm thinking like this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. Like red eyes. That's the type of mouth. Just constantly cursing at you, chasing you down, and next thing you know, if it catches you, it does like horrible shit, like beating the shit out of you or rape. Ooh, I think that's just like, it's just scary because like I feel like a lot of victims of this will probably. This is taking the fear of the. It did say it was like a police car, right? And this is taking the fear of the police and personifying the person outside, a physical appearance to what a lot of people would see him as, from what they think he's on the inside. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of creepy. It's unsettling. It's very uncomfortable. Treehouse predator. So some sort of beast that finds tree houses made by kids, of course, and then just waits. Just waits, and then when the kid goes in, just snatches him, just takes him away. Well, here we go. Euclid. One specimen of SB-974 is kept within Zoological Reserve Site 16 in a lightly wooded containment area measuring no greater than 2,500 meters squared. An armed patrol is to be conducted at least once weekly in order to ascertain the status of any instances of -2 and destroy any that are determined to be no longer in use. I just now realized she hasn't done that thing that I asked for her. Wait, hold on, what just happened? Well, I didn't expect this. me just. I'm sorry. I know this is. I didn't expect this message to pop up. To be very honest with you. Oh, hey, somebody liked my tweet of me being live right now. Hopefully they're watching. Would be nice. Would be cool. Where was I? Yes, I also need to set up for streams now in the future. All right. Okay, here we go. An armed patrol is to be conducted at least once weekly in order to ascertain the status of an instance of -2 and destroy any that are determined to be no longer in use. Once every 3 months, a group of fewer than 4 children between age 6 and 12 are to be acquired by Protocol 12 and transported to the containment area. They will be housed in on-site barracks and daily encouraged to explore and play in the containment area. If SCP-974 is not targeted one of the children within 5 days, a different group of children will be introduced. This cycle is to be repeated until it is confirmed that at least one child has been targeted by SCP-974. If SCP-974 attempts to leave the containment area, on-site security will hold it back using flamethrowers. Agents are instructed to attempt to capture any instances of SCP-974 encountered in the wild, but are authorized to use lethal force to eliminate SCP-974 if capture is not feasible. This may include a total emulation of any areas inhabited by SCP-974 if warranted. If any instances of -A are encountered, they are to be destroyed as rapidly as possible. See document 974-C in brackets 4B-F for a full list of recommended weaponry and tactics. Okay, so they want this to target a child. I guess like, the moment it targets a child, it's considered activated, and then they can stop it, and then have that 3-month cooling down period. Maybe, I don't know. SCP-974 is a carnivorous creature that superficially resembles a human child. It possesses greater durability, strength, and stamina than a child of commensurate size and does not appear to be deterred by bullets or melee weapon. It has been demonstrated to have an extremely adverse reaction to open flame, however. Imagine that. Imagine you see this childlike thing and you just accidentally hit it with like a rod. Like you were constructing workers and then the rod just slips out of your hand, and or a hammer. You're just constructing something and the hammer slips out of your hand, and you see this child, you're like, careful child, and then the hammer just poof, and he just keeps on walking like nothing happened. You're like, is he okay? But then you have a barbecue and he fucking screams. He's like, ah shit, not the fire! Although SCP-974 can briefly subsist on small animals such as squirrels or birds, its primary and preferred food source is prepubescent human children, that is. Each time it successfully consumes a human child, it enters a state of torpor, and its form changes over the course of 10 to 12 days to replicate that of the most recently consumed child. It is capable of speaking any language the consumed child knew, although its vocabulary and speech structure is always very limited and simple. SCP-974's preferred habitat is lightly wooded areas such as parks or undeveloped land near moderately populated human settlements. This is kind of fucked. Imagine being a parent and your child vanishes, but then they come back, but then you realize like something's kind of off, and then you find out this is what your child is. It's kind of like The Thing. It's very much like The Thing, but for the child version. Just like one moment your best friend is here, next thing you know, he's gone for like 5 minutes, comes back, and you're like, hold on now. How do I know you're still the same person? SCP-974's preferred habitat is lightly wooded areas such as parks or undeveloped land near moderately populated human settlements. Once it has settled into a new territory, it uses local vegetation, wood, and other available materials to create between 1 and 5 nests, designated -2. -2 are generally simple, crudely built, one-room structures and are usually placed in the lower limbs of a tree or on low rises of land. Once SB974 has built at least one instance of -2, it will seek to lure a group of between 2 and 5 prey subjected to -2 by entering. I see now, okay. And treating them to a follow to destruction in order to play. SB974 will participate in simple physical play activities such as hide and seek or tag with the subject, allowing them to leave and return at a later time. This behavior pattern can last up to a week before SB974 invites a single prey target to play with it alone. At this point, whether the target accepts or declines the offer, SB974 will subdue the target and redacted, leaving the clothing with only minor damage and fluid staining. SB974 will typically abandon -2 after this, although it will remain in its territory until the local population of children is depleted. SB974 displays a heightened fight or flight reaction to the presence of post-pubescent humans and will immediately attempt to flee to an instance of -2 if it's aware that it is visible to such an individual. If retreat is not an option, SB974 becomes highly aggressive and will attack all known post-pubescent individuals. Due to its increased strength, SB974 has been known to dismember the targets of its attacks before being dissuaded through standard containment procedures. God. Addendum A3. Following an investigation by the Ethics Committee, containment protocols have been adjusted to no longer include providing live human prey for SB974 as of the 1st of January 2010. Attempts to use SB1680 instances as a substitute have failed following SB974 rejection of all instances it has been presented with. An increased stock of small animals typical for the environment will be introduced in order to provide sustenance for SB974. Addendum D1. On the 16th of August 2010, during the weekly sweep of Zoological Reserve Site 16, patrol teams discovered that all previously existing -2 structures have been destroyed, apparently by brute force methods. No new structures could be located, but the teams did locate a roughly oval patch of freshly disturbing soil, measuring roughly 1.5 times 2.2 meters. Following consultation with the site supervisors, a geological team was dispatched to use ground-penetrating radar to image the patch of soil. The GPR revealed a humanoid figure curled into the fetal position 1.3 meters below ground level. Continual scanning over the course of 10 days revealed no changes in position. Supervisory person decided to exhume SB974 in order to more closely examine it. At the stage, SB974 measured 2.2 meters in length and weighed 37.4 kilograms. It did not have any visible orifices or facial features. Its skin was white and slightly tacky. Later analysis revealed the presence of several previously unknown enzymes in the mucus coating of SB974. No respirations were detected, although a faint and slow heartbeat was detected after a further 4 weeks of monitoring, during which the heartbeat ceased. SB974 was dissected for a complete breakdown of the anatomically structural seat document 974-F1AJ. That's a lot of addendums. Also, I gotta say the addendum numbering system here is a bit confusing. And then H11 on the we now know that's all the way around. On the 3rd of October 2010, 7 instances of SB974 were identified in the greater area and surrounding suburbs. 6 of the instances were killed during attempts to capture. A cover story for the resulting wildfire was disseminated by Foundation Counterintelligence, blaming the cause on a confluence of deliberately set fire, improperly extinguished, and lightning strike. The remaining example of SB974 was captured and transported to Zoological Reserve Site 16, where it was installed in the containment zone of the original creature. It too was denied human prey and buried itself on the 17th of December 2000 The decision was made to leave the new instance of SB974 buried and see whether they represented a transient metamorphic stage. Constant GPR scanning revealed that SB974 grew in stature and size, apparently absorbing nutrients directly from the surrounding Earth. And addendum H12 incident 974-Phi or Phi on the 25th of January 2010. SB974 dug itself free from the Earth. The new form, hereby -A, was highly aggressive, much more so than the initial form, and immediately ran towards the nearby monitoring station, where it ripped off the steel roof and attacked the monitoring crew. It fully dismembered all 6 members of the crew within 90 seconds. Less than 12% of the crew's body were later recovered. Response teams quickly mobilized and, per containment protocols, arrived within 15 minutes. -A mimicked the form of Georgia, one of the monitoring crew, and exited the monitoring station acting as if it was dazed or injured. It begged the teams for assistance, miming a serious wound, but did not appropriately respond to the response team's passive challenge. Just when the response team refused to allow -A to approach, it attacked. It demonstrated the same resistance to firearms and melee attacks as the initial form, but did not display a fear of flame and did not appear to be adversely affected by being set on fire. -A was killed when guard Emilio sacrificed his arm while shoving a live hand grenade down -A's throat. The resulting explosion did not rupture -A's epidermis, but did cause sufficient internal damage such that the remainder of the teams were able to subdue it within 20 minutes. 28 commendations for valor were awarded posthumously. And addendum H25. In light of incident 974-Phi, the original containment protocols have been reinstated. Whew, what a scary monster to deal with. I didn't think it would actually be able to, like, you know, mimic adults. I thought it was it's a thing. Was like I just stick with children. Oh, my lip. It do be hurting. It do be hurting. I want to answer this real quick. Subway frogs. I would talk about the rest of the fast food Western Subway. Because that would be kind of weird if you buy a sandwich and next thing you know that thing's hopping away and you're like, did my fucking 12-inch sandwich just fucking chop away from me? What's in that bread, dude? I know there's some yeast to make the bread rise and shit, but I never heard of yeast that makes bread jump. Either that or it's like frogs in underground, like train type of stuff. Let's see. Which doesn't seem weird. Unless it's like a case where the frog is like really massive and he's just there in the tunnel like and the train is just there like by God. By God, it's so big. El Supremo, help me out. Okay. Euclid. We have a lot of Euclids. I think the only safe was 971. SB975 is contained on site. A 50-meter section of the tunnel containing -1 has been reinforced with 3 cm of titanium alloy plating and hermetically sealed, with the area accessible only via a secure airlock that is to be manned by at least 2 armed guards at all times. This containment area is is further sealed from the main tunnel network to deter urban explorers and is now only accessible via an underground shaft inside. Any attempts to communicate with SCP-975-2 instances must be approved by O5 Command and overseen by Site Command, who may terminate proceedings at any given time. Any -2 instances attempting to escape the containment area must be detained. Description: -1 is an anomalous opening approximately 1.2 meters in diameter, located in an abandoned section of the subway system. Okay, so it is underground. Which has been in disuse for a period of at least 40 years. Okay, so there's no train going through, so that's good. There's no people that they have to deal with to anesthetize and explain, like, no, the giant frog is not part of like some weird attraction that they plan to build underground. This opening appears to be aligned or composed of organic substances and does not appear to extend beyond the ceiling of the tunnel, despite having significant apparent depth while open. Periodically, -1 will open and discharge a single instance of an entity designated -2. While these entities superficially resemble frogs, they are in no way amphibians and in fact do not appear to have terrestrial physiology. Alien frogs. -2 is highly intelligent and has quickly acquired the ability to communicate in English over a period of only 6 months. There are currently 33 instances of -2 in containment. SB-975 was discovered following reports of a homeless man being arrested by police after screaming about talking alien frogs in the subway tunnels. Class A amnestics were administered to the witness, and SB-975 was contained shortly thereafter. Addendum 1: Transcript of communication attempt with SCP-975-2 number 3 on Doctor. What is your purpose here? Let's see if I can make a. No, doesn't work. Just make a. What do you mean? Ran very long from danger. What are you running from? We ran very far. We need safe from danger. We need home. How did you get here? Door take us. Door take us very far. Insistent. We need home. This door work both ways. We not want. Many danger very soon. Why did they talk like Yoda? We need more information before we can move forward. What can you tell us about the other side? No want. End of the transcript. Refuse to answer additional questions. Okay. Number 3 is just like, hey, listen. I told you don't want to talk about it, and you keep pushing it, so I'm done. Then we have addendum 2, incident 1. On a large radiation spike was detected in the containment area of SCP-975, triggering a breach alarm that was followed by a wide-scale loss of power in the area. Why is my hand? It's not itchy, but it felt like something I was like stabbing it. Investigation by armed response, not stabbing, like poking it like with a little needle, like right here. Investigation by armed responses personnel immediately afterwards reported that one of the SCP-975-2 instances was missing and that the remaining members were extremely agitated. Since this event, -2 has become increasingly aggressive and has attempted to escape containment on several occasions. Reported that danger has come and that the area was not safe now. Okay. Addendum 3, research note. -1 has exhibited no detectable changes, although no further instances of -2 have appeared for over weeks now. During this time, -2 has refused to answer the question until they are make safe again and continue to attempt to escape containment. They're like, hey man, we're not feeling comfortable in this tunnel. Something's coming. And we don't want to be around when that shit's actually here. Fair enough, right? If you have the sense of something dangerous coming towards you, and the people like that, and people are preventing you from escaping, and you're like, God, please just let me through. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Very unsure about this. Okay. Anomalous hard drive. We had a couple hard drive stuff happening. Or at least we have a couple like electronic stuff with computers. So what if this hard drive contains information that is supposed to be impossible to get, or has information of something that is not on this from this world? Maybe this hard drive has like information about the Foundation, even though nobody ever used this hard drive before. It's our second save. SCP-976 is attached to an isolated research computer at site. All data from SCP-976 must be archived for analysis from automated backups made every 24 hours. Research on data extracted from SCP-976 requires Level 2 clearance. SCP-976 must not be installed in any terminal with a live connection to the site intranet or to any outside internet connection. Direct access to SCP-976 for purpose other than maintenance requires prior approval from at least 2 Level 3 personnel. SCP-976 appears to be a Western Digital model hard drive with an indicated capacity of 32 GB. The outside casing is identical to a hard drive with the indicated model and has a standard parallel ETA 100 interface. SCP-976 is unusually heavy, and all attempts to disassemble the outside casing have failed thus far. SCP-976 was found in Foundation Research Terminal Computer at site during a mandatory security pass for ensuring the destruction of sensitive data prior to the disposal of electronic equipment. Its anomalous properties were discovered when technicians noted that its installation was in violation of standard equipment configuration guidelines and was immediately taken in containment when the device was accessed and the data within analyzed. How SCP-976 ended up inside the terminal is unknown at this time. When connected to a standard PC and activated, here we go, SCP-976 operates normally but with an abnormal high-pitched hum that does not match any known hard drive model. When read using a specially designed interface, SCP-976 appears to contain a 32 GB slice of a larger data repository currently estimated at exceeding terabytes in size. This slice changes position every 24 hours at exactly 11 past midnight. Well, no. Yeah, no, it's 11 past midnight. Or midnight 11. How would you say that? No, I would just say 11 past midnight with 53 seconds, I guess. 11 past midnight, 53 second AM. I don't know. 11:53 past midnight. There we go. Just AM. Thus necessitating all data on SCP-976 to be downloaded daily for analysis. From ongoing analysis of over slices of data extracted from SCP-976, the following file fragments have been reconstructed. Several fragments of news reports, including images and partial videos. These news items are all dated in the past but do not match any news reports in Foundation archives. Archives documenting the use of and technologies that have not been invented or were never pursued in modern science. Containment procedures and experiment logs for SCP on object that was destroyed during acquisition and never contained. Detailed experiment logs for SCP which were never authorized due to the danger involved in said experiment proposals. Detailed description for SCP and SCP objects that do not exist, a record of assets and SCP objects stored at site which does not exist. All data recovered from SCP-976 matches standard Foundation data formats, but otherwise do not seem to correspond to data found in Foundation archives. It is currently theorized that SCP-976 may be a window into Foundation archives from an alternate timeline or existence. Okay, I would not have guessed that. Analysis in the data recovered from SCP-976 is ongoing. And then on 2000, Dr. and Dr. were killed accessing data on SB976 that appears to have contained a memetic kill agent similar to increased security has been requested for SB976 data, and automated data analysis must be used before opening unknown files. Must be a wild sensation though. Imagine like looking at a bunch of data and like in a certain time afterwards it just changes to something completely else, and you like it has like maybe it has some information that you actually like really care for, or like you think like, oh, this is good information, but you know it doesn't stick. Also, it probably takes a while for it to like loop back to that same data, right? I just now realized I wanted to text this person to make sure she's okay. Make sure she's okay. Okay, the security station. Man, these titles are so hard to like guess what it could be. The security station. Because I didn't. Smoky for me was like something I thought I was a happy-go-lucky puff of smoke, just dancing and prancing. Next thing you know, it's this beast, this humanoid-looking person with red eyes and a gaping hole for a mouth, chasing you down as in a police car, just to either kill, rape, or absolutely traumatize the shit out of you. The security station, I don't know what that could be. It could be like, of course it's a station, duh, that is obvious, but and I'm trying to think what could make it anomalous. Maybe the people in it are from a different time and are stuck in that time, and every like officer in there is from a different time, but they just pretend like it's still their time, kind of like the Greek myth where like people were just like forever stranded on I forgot what the place is called, but the Greek myth was like that they were stranded on it, or like they were stuck basically in it because like it was just like you just couldn't get out of it anymore. Percy Jackson made a reference to it, but yeah, I assume that's what it is. Because with a bunch of police force who just are from their own timeline, don't realize that maybe something's a bit off. Euclid. Access to the SCP-977 site has been restricted on the basis of ongoing asbestos removal and renovation. The site is to be secured by guards and standard security company. Cover uniforms with concealed ornaments. No fewer than 3 Foundation staff members are to be present on site at any time while research is being conducted. Personnel entering or leaving the building are required to don breathing masks and standard safety clothing to prevent suspicion. The security cameras already existing in the building have been modified to link to SCP Foundation servers. Footage is automatically backed up every 2 hours, both to the local hard drive and to off-site storage. Any development ought to be reported to site overseer Dr. Access to video recordings, research, and logs may be granted by personnel with level 4 security clearance or higher. Addendum. Following incident 977-I-1, all staff must be escorted by at least one other staff member or member of security personnel at all times while on the SCP-977 site. Failure to follow these procedures will result in reprimands, including but are not limited to demotion of security level, loss of privileges, and denial of leave. Object class has been upgraded to Euclid. And also, there's some shit happening in that security station apparently. I'm going to quickly change my stuff here. Is that the person? That's the person. Please give me that. Okay, I'm gonna make it a bit quieter because hers is a bit louder. Alright. Here we go. SCP-977 is a warehouse located in an industrial district in. The warehouse was brought to the Foundation attention after it was declared abandoned and reports of its unusual properties intercepted. The Foundation subsequently purchased the building, designated its site, and these reports were suppressed. Records state that the warehouse was constructed in and prior to being purchased by the company was owned by several companies including spanning a period of years. However, not numerous contradictions in the documentation recovered on these leases suggests that these operations were not functioning companies and may have been operations for yet unidentified groups or individuals. SCP-977 is outwardly unremarkable and, aside from the Foundation equipment and the security station, currently empty. Along with a single open storage space typical of a warehouse, the structure contains a number of wide, irregular rooms and corridors, many of which are sunk below street level at varying depths and are all characterized by unusual plateaus, varying ceiling heights and raised platforms. The security station can be accessed via a stairwell next to Docking Bay C. The monitors are divided into two groups of 18 designated Group 1 and Group 2. All monitors have black and white displays and do not receive sound. Group 1 receives the signals from an unidentified source showing numerous unconscious persons visible from the shoulders upwards, wearing identical unisex hospital gowns. These images cycle at 8-minute intervals with a new image/subject replacing the previous one. A cross-reference of those images has identified the total of unique faces at last count. Group 2 is receiving images of rooms and hallways that match the characteristics of the wide rooms contained within the complex. However, while some of these images are verifiably originating from rooms within the warehouse itself, several others do not match the layout of any known room. The last 3 monitors in Group 2 are currently not receiving any signal. The station also features a console with a text-based command input running a unique operating system, the functionality and interface of which are yet to be fully determined. Investigation in the console operation and the source of the unknown images are ongoing. Okay, here we have log A1. Date. Basic control of the Group 2 cameras was established by means of the by the way, these are all research logs. Was established by means of the command console, including rotation limited to 45 degrees from origin for x-axis motion and 30 degrees for y-axis motion, and zoom to a maximum of 2.3 times optical zoom. Investigation of 7 of the 8 cameras revealed nothing. However, a previously unseen figure was observed slumped against a distant wall of the hallway, observed by camera 2 till 6. This hallway is not known to be part of the existing complex. The figure appears to be dark-skinned male, wearing a hospital gown similar to those worn by the subject viewed on the Group 1 monitors, though distance and image quality has hampered further investigation. I just spit my inside of my cheek, like right here. Log A5, date. Limited interaction with the cameras transmitting to the Group 1 cameras was achieved. Catheters are observed protruding from the veins in each subject's right arms. However, the apparatus to which these are connected cannot be observed from this angle. And then log A6. My lip still hurts. Movement is observed on monitor 2 to 11. Observing a hallway, a figure was observed to walk slowly across the far end of the corridor around a corner. Although image quality is too low for detailed observation, no other movements were recorded on this date. Log A8. Interaction with subject observed through a Group 1 monitor was achieved. A random identification key was entered in the command console, causing an unidentified white male to be displayed on all Group 1 monitors. After a series of subsequent commands, the subject was awakened from consciousness. Why is her ASMR way louder than the other ones? After a series of subsequent commands, the subject was awakened from unconsciousness. The following is a log of the subject activity in the house following awakening. 17:13, I assume that's the time. Subject was awakened slowly. After several minutes, subject raises himself from the bed with difficulty, possibly suffering from muscle atrophy or lingering effects of sedatives. Subject then leaves the field of vision of the bed camera. Movements of the subject for the next 28 minutes are unknown. And then 1754, subject appears in a hallway displayed on monitor 2 to 11 approaching the camera. Hallway is not known to be part of the existing complex. Subject is walking slowly with hunched shoulders and observing surroundings, frequently looking over his shoulder. While climbing over a plateau in the center of the hallway, subject suddenly reacts to some unknown stimulus and looks over his shoulder for several seconds. Breathing heavily, then resumes climbing slowly. After 2 minutes, the subject passes out of the field of vision once again. Subject does not seem to react to the presence of the camera. Movement to the next 17 minutes are unknown. 1811, subject appears on monitor 2 to 6, moving away from the camera. After several places, they see the previously observed body slumped against the wall at the far end of the corridor. Subject stops abruptly and then turns back towards the camera hurriedly. Movements for the next hour and 39 minutes are unknown. 1950, subject appears on monitor 2 and 3, moving towards the camera, breathing heavily but not observably injured. While climbing over a series of small steps, subject trips and falls and remains on the ground for the following 8 minutes before unsteadily rising to their feet. Subject then proceeds for another several paces before sitting once again in a state of visible distress, remaining there for the following 23 minutes. 2013, subject moves from the stair into the seated position against a neighboring plateau, facing away from the camera, partly out of the camera's field of vision. 2040, subject breathing has become noticeably heavier. 2130, subject breathing progressively becomes shallower, taking in large breaths. 22:09, subject body begins to convulse for a period of 34 minutes. 22:43, subject movement ceases, assumed deceased. 10:29, subject's skin appears to be growing darker or decaying at an accelerated rate. 1656, a number of small dark growths are observed protruding from the subject's right palm. 29, growths have spread across the body extremities and face, obscuring features. Growth appears as a large number of small semi-rigid filaments. It is unknown whether these growths are organic or inorganic. 338, subject body is entirely covered by growth. That is nasty. Log A14, function to change the camera transmitting to individual group 2 monitoring by means of the console was determined. Logs are now duplicate of unique cameras, viewpoints, and the corresponding identification keys. And log A17, a systematic examination of group 2 identification keys revealed a previously unknown camera concealed within the security station itself. The camera tracked the movement of Dr. independently for several minutes after the cover was removed by Dr. but has since become inactive. The corresponding identification key was also no longer access this camera. Will also no longer access this camera. And then the discoveries detailed in log A17 along with incident I1 have necessitated the upgrade of SCP-977 from safe to Euclid. Please refer to containment procedures for change security precaution commencing. And now we have incident log I. Okay, so that's the reason why I had to change it from safe to Euclid. So here we go. Date. Incident I1 occurred during a routine inspection of SCP-977 started by Dr. was alone on site against Foundation regulation. The incident occurred at 22:04 hours during an inspection of the site's rear corridors. At this time, Dr. departed from procedure by taking a left at the end of the hallway instead of a right. Questioning suggests that this was a mistake and not deliberate, possibly as a result of fatigue. Personnel taking this route are expected to emerge in the hallway observed by monitor 2 to 3. Though following this, Dr. was not observed on any on any active monitor for the next 4 hours. At 21 hours, he is briefly seen in agitated states moving past the far end of the corridor observed by monitor 2 to 11 and is not seen again for another 6 hours. Approximately 8:30 hours, Dr. and Dr. arrived at the site expecting to meet Dr. and the alarm was raised 15 minutes later when he could not be located. A search operation was launched, concluding at 9:04 when Dr. cries were heard. Dr. was located near the corridors of his initial disappearance and was subsequently brought into sight for questioning. Dr. reported being unaware of having left the known parts of the site for several minutes after having taken a wrong turn. The doctor claims to have been unable to recognize any landmarks when attempting to retrace steps and was unable to give an accurate estimate of length of time spent searching for a way back to the known site. During this period, Dr. recounted experiencing periods of intense paranoia as well as making multiple attempts to contact the Foundation by means of security cameras present in every room. As these cameras were not manned at this time, this cannot be corroborated by Foundation recordings, although Dr. stated that the cameras did track his movements. Although Dr. described the corridors as silent, he also reported several instances of believing to have heard faint or distant sounds or observing changes in room layout. Ooh, now we get meaty and greedy stuff. This may, however, have been a result of fatigue or paranoia. Air pressure also reportedly changed at several irregular intervals. After an unknown amount of time, Dr. was reported coming across a distinctive corridor, leading to what was described as a room very similar to the security station used to monitor an SB-977, although otherwise bare. The two stations reportedly shared a similar setup, both with two distinct groups of monitors viewing unconscious subjects and corridors. However, Dr. examination of the new station and monitor observing what appeared to be the security station used by Foundation staff was described in place of where one of the three darkened monitors will be in the latter. After a period of exploration, Dr. reported then observing a dark figure appearing on one of the station's monitor, walking slowly. After several minutes of observing, the doctor then reported seeing several black figures appear on different monitors when one of which was recognized as having been recently passed by Dr. He reported fled the room in a state of panic. After an extending period, Dr. recounted eventually coming to a halt in the corridor, falling to the ground out of exhaustion. The doctor recalled having fallen asleep in a seated position despite apparently having intent to continue his exploration, having been awoken by the shouts of the approaching search party. The doctor was subsequently retrieved, during which time he repeatedly expressed disorientation and claimed to have fallen asleep in a different hallway. Dr. later retracted the statement, citing uncertainty. A medical check-up revealed Dr. was physically unharmed by this experience beyond fatigue. The doctor was reprimanded for neglecting Foundation procedure, and his security clearance has been downgraded following the incident, with a review pending in 6 months. I mean, I think he's probably fine with that. He's glad to be out of that place. It looks like it's just, for the fact that it's called security station, doesn't look like people feel very secure in it, because it looks like the station itself, at least from the perspective of the person, seems to be morphing or changing in such a way that like certain things don't make sense. Even if you know, like, okay, I took 2 rights, then I walked straight for a couple 100 meters, and then I took a left. But then you try to retrace those steps, and you're like, okay, I took a right, walked a couple 100 meters. I was supposed to take 2 lefts here, but why is there a dead end now? You know what I mean? Like, and then like, doesn't have that it's like super silent, but then you can swear you hear something in the distance, like maybe like a footstep, or like something falling, or like a whisper. Yeah, no, this is like just being stuck forever in this place that just doesn't allow you to escape. But it makes you wonder, how did they find him? Like, what allowed this doctor? What did he do, or what did the search party do that the SCP was like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna have him back now. I was just kidding around. You can have him now. You know what I mean? Okay, let me just Whew, okay, sorry about that. The Desire camera. So either I don't think it would be something as simple as like the camera itself is desirable. I assume whatever the camera films, you have a craving for it. What kind of craving is up to whatever it films, I guess. You film a person, you're attracted to that person. You film food, you're hungry for that food. You film maybe just in general, like whatever you film doesn't have to like make sense either. You could film food and you're sexually attracted to food. You suddenly like you film like one croissant and you just be like, oh, croissant. You know what I mean? Like who knows? Oh hey, look at that. A little Polaroid camera, safe. SB978 is to be kept in security locker HJ12 at Site 17 and only to be removed or handled by personnel with level 2 security clearance or higher. Testing parties may request extra film and printing paper at their leisure. SB978 is not to be used for blackmail, entertainment, or personal reasons. This means you, 05. Oh, okay, 05 is saying that. I was about to be like... I thought somebody was saying that to 05, like hey, listen, 05, you can't use this for entertainment or blackmail or any personal reasons. All photographs produced by SB978 are to be catalogued along with full testing description. Requests to destroy photographs may be processed by level 4 security clearance or higher. Or higher personnel at the discretion of the testing party. SB978 doing initial analysis. Looks like a cool Polaroid camera, I gotta say. Looks nice. SB978 appears to be a standard red and black Polaroid Super Color 645 CL instant camera with no distinctive identifying marks or damage. SB978 operates the same as a standard camera and shows no anomalous behavior beyond the photographs it produces. When a subject is pictured with SB978, the photograph that develops shows not what the subject was doing at the time of the photo, but rather what the subject wanted to be doing. Oh, that's why desire. It shows what they want to do. This effect appears to be, for the most part, random, sometimes showing drastic changes in deeply suppressed desires or simple changes and alteration to the subject or the surroundings. SB978 appears to be capable of expressing the desires of both humans and other creatures. See testing log. It appears to convey the simplest desires, the easiest. Should two subjects with contrasting desires both be photographed together, the subject's desires appear to mix. See testing log for additional information. This is fascinating. Subjects are allowed to request photographs of themselves. Remember, people, just because some of the photos show distasteful things doesn't mean you're going to do them. Doctor. Excuse me, I didn't say the doctor part. Yeah, I mean, just because it shows distasteful things, you're not going to do them, that's fair. Still means that they potentially would like to do certain things. Yeah, of course, they don't have to do it. Or they won't do it. Or they're just like... Well, yeah, but still, it shows like a dark side of people. Log from a subject, photograph, activity for a result. Okay. Testing. 5th. Simple study of basic research team. Research assistant James. Smile for the camera, neutral pose. Subject is shown looking much more tired and unprofessional, drinking from a flask. Huh. So is he like? Is that supposed to be like? He wishes to be lazy, to not care about his looks and just drink alcohol. I don't know. Research assistant, smiling for the camera, neutral pose. Subject is shown in casual clothes as if heading out for the night. Subject admits that she wishes to go home. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Research assistant, smile for the camera, neutral pose. Research assistant is placed on temporary psychiatric leave. Doctor, smiling for the camera, neutral pose. Subject is shown wearing a different tie. I desire a better tie. Doctor, smile for the camera, neutral pose. Did a expunged. Doctor expressed extreme embarrassment and apologies for this. Well, the first of the test wasn't so bad, except for those two. Let's try this thing on some Class D and other personnel. Let's see if we can get more unusual results. Doctor. I mean, the E class, of course, are going to have different results. It's most likely like desires to get back home, get out of here, or whatever crime they committed to do that again. Testing, fifth. Testing to see effects of SCP-978 on non-humans. Several standard white. Okay. Looks like the D class didn't. That we don't get to see that. Several standard white lab mice. All mice are in plain glass tank for photographing. All mice picture are eating, mating, or both. Yeah, makes sense. Single zebra finching. Standard lab. Single zebra finch. Standard lab animal. Sitting in cage, observing photographer. An open cage with a zebra finch flying off the edge of the photo. Only a wing and a paw of the tail visible. Standard white lab rabbit sitting in the plain glass tank for photographing. Subject is picture of mating with another rabbit, of course. Kitten, stray lab animal being held for the picture by Dr. Did expunged. Expunged. I would never do that with a kitten. Doctor. You say that now. Guard dog, Doberman mix, and handler. Guard dog and handler both posing strictly for photographs. Subject or picture as playing a game of fetch. Oh, that's cute. Mobile testing, cockroaches. Cockroaches placed in a glass tank for photograph. No change. Small we have no size. We just do. Small spider clinging to the ceiling. Doctor admits that the picture was taken as a last-minute thought when she walked past the spider on her way to SCP-978's containment locker. A massive hallway complex web with a small spider in it. Well, at least we know it works on animals. Doctor. Hey, for more information, see how long? Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I want to see. So here we have stoneware rabbit, and that's pretty short. Okay, let's read that. Let's read this and see how far we can get with this before I'm like exhausted. Oh, he's reacting to the camera. Euclid. I know I didn't try to like guess what this one is, but now that I know there's a whole testing log. I mean, this will probably not take as long as, like, 914, but still. It also has a bunch of SCPs on here, so oof. Okay, all individuals suspected of being exposed to SCP-979 must be reviewed for changes in... Also, I need to fucking... Actually, I'm going to keep this... I'm going to keep this from the ranking away for now. Let's just read this. To SCP-979 must be reviewed for changes in psyche. SCP-979 itself should be contained in a wire cage and plastic flooring approximately 5 meters in length, height, and width. As SCP-979 does not produce waste, there is little need for any bedding. However, SCP-979 should be given a water dispenser of 150 milliliters refilled daily to prevent drying out. Also, SCP-979 is allowed one shelter in its cage, consisting of commercial plastics of any color made from medium to large members of the Leporidae family, normally sold in pet shops for companionship. SCP-979 is to be monitored with a hidden camera 24 hours a day. Should SCP-979's behavior change in any way, it is to be logged and reported to a level 3 or higher personnel. SCP-979 is an animated stoneware figurine in the shape of a member of the family Leporidae. SCP-979 shows subtle differences from traditional members of Leporidae, including but not limited to the ability to express emotion through facial exchanges and posture that is congruent with typical human reactions. SCP-979 lacks proper anatomy, with its ears and back legs being too long and large, and therefore has extreme difficulty with normal movement. The behavior of SCP-979 shows some sentience, but it generally only reacts to any stimuli with fear and/or avoidance. Any other reaction must be reported to level 3 or higher personnel. SCP-979 emits a high-frequency noise in response to any stimuli. The volume appears proportionate to SCP-979's level of distress. Extending proximity to SCP-979 causes synesthesia of all senses, typically manifesting after 4 hours and escalating over a variable period of approximately 3 weeks. Exposure to the noise produced by SCP-979 has been shown to increase the rate at which synesthesia develops. However, the recordings have failed to replicate the effects, and as such, the noise is not believed to be primary cause. The first sense to be affected is typically hearing, although the reason is unknown. Humans Unknown. Humans exposed to SB979 tend to describe a whispering, rustling voice associated with the sensation of touch and will avoid any physical contact with anything as much as possible. Typically, this first effect appears approximately 10 minutes after exposure. Within 1 week, exposure to SB979 causes synesthesia in at least 3 senses, although which 3 tends to be dependent on the specific person. A level of psychosis appears to develop at this stage, although whether or not it's from mental disturbance of the synesthesia or something else is unknown. The only recorded personnel hereby labeled SB979V1 exposed to SB979 described symptoms similar to high anxiety, most notably the recurring thought of an imagined entity almost touching the skin at all times, especially so during nights in which the exposed personnel are reporting a belief of the imagined entity running away and running any number of limbs up and down the body just above skin contact. That is, ugh. Imagine that you're just trying to sleep, but you feel like something's like doing like this, like this all the time, and you just know something's there. After passing of approximately 2 weeks, synesthesia caused by SB979 spreads to all senses, although certain senses appear to be less intrusive than others, depending on the specific patient. In SB979 V1, the previous recurring thought of the imagined entity became an obsession, and V1 regularly attempted to attack the imagined entity with apparently little success. All inquiries on the appearance of the imagined entity was unsuccessful. V1 attempted suicide approximately times during this period and developed a severe insomnia. In addition, V1 described hallucinations of the aforementioned entity now almost licking the skin, along with other types of contact such as kissing, stroking. At no point does V1 describe actually being touched. Within 3 weeks, the synesthesia develops fully in all the senses. V1 has had extreme difficulty dealing with any kind of sensory information, mind regularly blocking our senses due to overload. V1 displayed behavior similar to SB979 itself and appeared to attempt interaction with hallucination before falling into a catatonic state. Afterwards, no other progression was shown until a period of 5 weeks, in which the subject was discovered with a large gash in his torso. Organs have been pulled from the body cavity. It is unknown how such a wound came to V1. SB979 was found in Chile. SB979 was featured in an exhibition. SB979 was featured in an exhibition by an artist under the pseudonym of the Kind Man in the museum. After news reports of hallucination and an outbreak of synesthesia, SB979 was placed under Foundation custody. Now we have an interview log. Dr. D. Good morning. Please identify yourself. Morning already? Well, last I checked, my name was... Don't you white-collar bastards have records of this shit laying around? The time is exactly 9... I don't know why. 9:07 a.m. Please explain for the recording of how last night went. What? You didn't see it? Nothing recorded last night was particularly unusual, however, your behavior. You didn't fucking see it? It was hovering over me the whole damn time, at least things just barely touching me. I could feel it. Well, it's not the fucking whispering, it was the colors, the damn smells. Ain't there a way you can reserve the synthetic bullshit? I've seen you psychopaths do things that make reality shit itself, for Christ's sakes. Please go into further detail of last night's event according to your perception. Note the camera only caught your erratic behavior before Asian was forced to intervene. You gotta be fucking good. You gotta be shitting me. With all that fucking technology, you couldn't. Please answer the question. What did you see last night? It ain't a seeing thing, Doc. It was a feeling thing. It was like if I would fucking breathe too hard, I touched whatever the thing was. It was so damn close, just watching me and hovering. Could hear it saying something right in my ear. The bastard's fucking with me. He is. I could feel his smell. It was like the static of the dust on the TV screen. But a little tingling is going in you, right? Right here. Touches his sternum. Oh. And it just builds up till you have to take a breath. And I swear on my life, I almost felt the bastard tentacle thing. He's on me right now. Can't you fucking see it? Grows increasingly agitated and begins noticeably hyperventilating. Oh god, man, I feel it now. Fuck. Make it stop. Make it stop. Begins to slam his face into the side of the interview table, presumably in a suicide attempt. After repeated orders to stop were ignored, Agent administered a sedative and took something back to his observation chamber. Jesus. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Let's read the extended logs. Let's see if I can get this done in like 40 minutes. At best. Also, taking this out because I'm pretty sure there's a couple SCPs I need to like look at this again. Which one is this, for example? I remember this vaguely. The Great Hippo's proposal. Does this have all of the was this a good boy by any chance? Let's see here. It's been a while. Yes it is. Oh. A predictive test generating computer assembled in fed thousands of different containment positions. Yeah, gotcha. Damn it, I closed the wrong thing, didn't I? Give me that back. Okay, so I took a photo of that operating normally, no change. O2 is the living room, yeah. Address in its containment chamber. A well-furnished foyer in the style of SB-002 and unlit hallway extends in the opposite direction. SCP-0011, sentient civil war. Oh, yes. Facing towards the camera with its musket to his side. Wait. Okay, it worked. I didn't hear it. It's standing next to SCP-011 while leaning her head on its shoulder. SCP-011's arms are around her back and its head is leaning on hers. SCP-011's musket is not visible. Okay, and then we have 014, which is the concrete man. I remember this. Scottish claims that he has been cursed to live forever and slowly turning into concrete as a consequence. He does not appear to show some signs of yeah. Sitting in his chair, no change. I'm going back to some old ones. 35 is the possessive mask. Yes, of course. Address in its containment chamber. SCP-035 is being worn by an undefined individual sitting on a throne. On the floor, there are 3 dead masked individuals. The location of the picture appears to be changed. 4 instances of SCP-039, which is monkey brain. Our faces proposes monkeys which engineer skills and altered and now they don't need to eat, for example, no mouse or frequently decide to escape using the engineering knowledge. Yes, I remember this. So this is 1, grooming each other. Due to the lack of mouse, SCP-039 simply crushed the removed insects instead of consuming them. All 23 instances of SCP-039 performing various repairs and modification on a lime green 1960 Chevrolet Nomad. Dash A claims that his vehicle was once its dream car before its operation. It is not clear how SCP-039 became aware of this, which is testing on a large rectangular slab of concrete in what appears to be a mangrove forest. Dash A is the driver's seat. And then we have Dash A again, okay, lying on its bed and listening to the music. See at the dining room table 3 other individuals. When the photograph was described to Dash A, it identified the scene as the dining room at its grandmother's house and the other individuals at its parents and grandmothers. Dash A still lacks facial features in the photograph as do its family members. Then we have 03, the beetle. Yeah, that's the vinyl copy. I remember that one. Being questioned as it sits on the turntable, being replaced into its sleeve. 049 should be the Plague Doctor. Yes, it is indeed. Standing in its containment chamber, SB049 is embracing an unidentified approximately 6-year-old child in the background. Various instances of -2 are visible. SB050 is to the cleverest. Isn't that like this thing, the statue that goes around of a monkey? Yeah, it becomes the property of anyone who's preparing this current. Yeah. Seated on Asian desk, a photo of what appears to be SCP-978 with a photo emerging from it. The photo is of what appears to be SCP-978 with a photo emerging from it at infinitum. Microscopic examination revealed that the regrets continued for 12 levels before details became too small to make out. Are we going for like all of the like? Oh god, okay. You know what I'm going to do? I was about to like split this in like this, but wouldn't that look a bit weird? Let's see how that looks on for you guys. You know what? I do a copy paste situation, right? Unless it doesn't allow me. It did. Okay, let me just move that down here. Also, get rid of the display capture. I don't need it anymore. So if we do this and then have this be hold on, why is this one not showing up? It only shows. That's odd. Because it does work, but see, it does do that, for example. But that's the here we go. Oh, hold on. Is it because it's because I copy and pasted it, right? Yeah, it's because of that, isn't it? Okay, sure thing. Let me get rid of this one and just add manually another one. Yeah. There we go. There, and then we put it down like this. There we go. That way we can just have both open at the same time and don't have to like constantly go back and forth. Okay, where were we? Yes. 053 is a young girl, yep. Coloring in coloring book, riding on SB 682's back in the pastoral setting. SB 682 is wearing a bright red hair bow and a floral dress similar to SB 053's favorite clothing, and has bright pink nail polish on its claws. Adult humans are present, but facial features are indistinct. And then we have 055, which is unknown, yes. Photographed inside the containment cell. Unknown research misplaced the photograph and were unable to relocate it. SB 066, which is Eric's toy. It used to be a amorphous ball of yarn that was friendly. Ah, yeah. In the process of the transfer into a new containment unit inside the open thoracic cavity of an unidentified individual with the other organs removed, SB 066 eyes and tendrils are rearranged to reassemble a smiley face. And then we have 073, which is Kane, yeah. Eating in a Site 17 cafeteria, tending to an assorted range of plants on a small farm. In the background, where various domesticated animals are wandering around. 076, which is Abel, yep. Lying in a sarcophagus in -1. Tending to a herd of pigs in the pastoral landscape while a large city is consumed by flames in the background. Close inspection revealed that the pigs were consuming the remains of 073. Yeah, Cain and Abel don't like each other in this universe either. 082 Fernand the Cannibal, yeah, sharing a meal with SCP-4820, performing at the Paris Opera House that appears in the 1986 musical. The Phantom of the Opera, based on the costumes and sets visible in the photograph. SCP-082 seems to be portraying Mephistopheles in Charles Gounod opera adaptation of Faust, while SCP-4820 portrays the title character. Several audience members are visible. Identified individuals include Peter Dinklage, Batman, as depicted in early issues of Detective Comics, SCP-507, Lon Chaney Jr. as a Wolfman, and Maximilian Wolfspear. All visible audience members have apparently been moved to tears by SCP-082's performance. And we have 085, which is hand-drawn Cassie, tinkering with a drawn car, engaged in the same activity. However, the photograph depicts 085 as a three-dimensional human. Oh, she wants to be three-dimensional human. Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. The Office of Dr. Redacted, yes. Sitting on his desk where it's receiver of the Hook as Doctors Margrave and Kosciuszka discuss recent studies on its anatomy. A human male identified as a younger version of Dr. Redacted is engaged in the same activity while dissecting SCP-086-1 and -3. SCP-086 has stated that any malevolent entity capable of emulating Dr. Redacted's behavior well enough to deceive the Foundation might also have the ability to deceive SCP-978 in addition to possessing scientific curiosity. Then, of course, the one you should not take a photograph as is sitting in its containment chamber, faced away from the camera. Picture of SCP-096 containment chamber taken from the same angle. SCP-096 is not present in the photograph. So he basically just does someone. He wants to be invisible, basically. I think that's what it is. Then we have Iris. Yep, testing denied by 05. Testing denied by 05. And next is the old man, yeah. SCP-106 emerging from a wall. SCP-106 roaming a wheat field, appears to be approaching an old farmhouse, while a woman appearing to be in her mid-60s welcomes 106. We're getting some background stuff about some SCPs here, don't we? Some very interesting background stuff. Star-Eyed Child, reading a braille copy of The Cat in the Hat. SCP-134 floating unharmed in the vacuum of space, curled in the fetal position. Its eyes were closed in the photograph. An incomplete chronicle. It's a book titled A Chronicle of the Devas and Deities and Ancient Civilization of Human-like Species. Yeah. Yes, I remember this. I remember this because it gave me like Harry Potter vibes. As arrest in the vault, a number of ornately dressed women look on with approval of an assortment of human corpses impaled on stakes. Said corpses include civilians of multiple ethnicities, soldiers dressed in the military uniforms of a number of countries, and Foundation, Global Occult Coalition, and Horizon Initiatives operatives. Background buildings are grey and appear to be made of basalt. 160 is next. That's the Predator drone, yes. Consuming rapid in its containment chamber. Consuming a rapid in its environment subsequently identified as the town of Redacted, where SCP-160 was first captured. I have to double check that again now. Is a UAV drone that acts like a predator. Yes. 163 Squid 2. Oh yeah. Predating its habitat, interacting with another member of its species in the environment, resembling the landscape in SCP-163's painting. A copy of the photograph was printed in the UV absorbent inks and presented to SCP-163, who refused to relinquish the photograph for 2 days. 166 is just a teenage Gaia. I forgot what this one is. Is that the daughter of the Dr. Alcott who he later killed and was raised to be Cohen? Yes, is a 16-year-old girl with 3 horns that make anything man may corrode. Yes. Praying preying in its containment cell, roaming a field of wildflowers, catching cicadas with a bug net. SB-166 is accompanied by an older male with similar ungulate features to itself. Then we have sentient calculator. Oh god, there's a bunch of them that I haven't thought about. The sentient calculator previously belong to Eric that communicates through the space where numbers would normally appear. Funny enough, it actually struggles with. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because isn't the calculator like actually calculating it? Like it's not like digital. Like he's actually like thinking. It's like, oh, that would be sitting on a table and find male teenagers using SB-168 to solve several pages of mathematical equations. Several textbooks with titles such as complicated math, difficult math, and math you need to calculate for are visible. 173 setting in this container, no change. Participants in SB-176 observable time loop, photographed at 3.1 second through the 11.3 second cycle, working on the device, identifying researcher data expunge, and kissing identifying researcher 2 using the toilet. And then we have 179, which is is a completely black girl with tattoos of different elements along the broad of her body and long flowing hair deep in space, moving around the center of the galaxy. She points at otherwise warns of oncoming allowing the Foundation to stop them before. Man, it's been a while since I thought about this one or read about this one. Staring roughly in the direction of Indonesia, two figures, one male, one female, stood on the hill with their backs to the camera. A concrete structure later determined to be SB-900 can be seen in the background. And now, embarrassingly, even though I just read this one, City of the Sun. Yeah, it's a Silver City. Yes. Yeah. See, like, I'm at the point where like I read so many of these things that even like it's so hard to keep track of which one is which. 187 is the double vision. A girl can see simultaneously present in the future. Yes. Eating her evening meal while blindfolded in the cafeteria at side 19. Eating a meal is redacted. A restaurant in the town is redacted, where SB-187 was taken to custody. SB-187 blindfold is absent, as other visible signs of malnutrition from which SB-187 has not fully recovered. No changes are observed in the meal. Cyborg child lying in fetal position on the ground. A fully robotic SB-191 stands upright and stares at the camera. Now we're in the 200s. It would be like, it would be so much faster if I kept track of all testing done by 05, testing them by 05. A single umbrella under the effect of 243. Floating in the containment chamber, separated from its flock. Yeah, the flock umbrellas, yes. Photographs depict a complex, radially symmetrical aerial structure of unclear purpose, composed of estimated minimum 10,000 individual animated objects. Items include various household objects, articles of clothing, pieces of laboratory instrumentation, instances of SCP, and 6 exact copies each of the Bruce nuclear generating station A and B reactor resembles a mass of batteries 12 meters in diameter, believed to be SB-243 itself is visible at the structure geometry center. And then we have 26 pan. Signal in the hallway. The hallway is full of yen coins to a depth of approximately 160 centimeters. The upper portion of SB-261 is visible. Now we're in the 300 atmospheric jellyfish. It's been so long. It's a gaseous jellyfish that mimics a child. It is a predator throughout its victims. Yep. Floating in its containment chamber. Photograph appears to be unidentifiable location somewhere similar to the surface of Mars, with 9 more instances of SB-312 in the photo. This may indicate that SB-312 SB12 may not be a terrestrial species. Then we have the Recorded Man. God. 90. Oh yeah, the DVD where you can talk to the man. Yeah. I remember this. Being interviewed on screen by Doctor. Screen is blank. So does this mean it wants oblivion, or is it that 978 can't detect it? I'm missing something. I know I am Doctor. 337 is hairball. A large conglomeration of human hair that's animated is able to manipulate hair connects to the center of mass when hair is long and then 5 centimeters near as it enters the petal, so it will take. Yeah, I remember this. It's just sucks your hair off. It's weird, but it does that. Putting itself in its containment chamber, a naked woman identifiable as a bearded and full covered version of the late Dr. Solomon is shampooing SB 337. Then we have God standing and smiling for the camera, no change. Of course not, he's happy. 178 brain worm. It's an animal that looks like a giant enemy which produces parasites and can control and affect humans, not a transparent. Yes. Oh, excuse me. Eating lichen in its containment terrarium. Dash 3 has it appeared circa 1962, frolicking among a field of flowers in Central Park. 397 is a is a genius chimpanzee that can speak, enjoys music and literature, and hates human society. She was discovered in a group of chimpanzees in a series of calculated attacks on human privilege. After capture, she has made many escape attempts, but she pays when her access to reading and music is revoked. Playing a violin, examining SB 987, the mutilated body of the photographer is visible with the neck of the violin protruding from its torso. Wow, that is brutal. 411 is ancient pre-car. My God, why is it so many? I don't remember. It's extremely old human that ages in reverse. Yes, it is capable of recalling few. Yes. See, like when I read like the description, I'm like, yeah, I remember this one. Some of them I don't. I will be honest with you. Some of them I don't remember anymore. But yeah, it happens. Sitting in front of the news bank, a young male human, presumably SB411, is sitting on an unknown device with what seemed to be a null interface alongside 15 other human figures in similar device. Whatever it is, it doesn't exist yet. Doctor. Then we have 418, which is human jigsaw. I remember this one. Eating foundation rations with a plastic spoon. Eating a steak in casino. A steak of poker chips can also... A stack. It's not a steak of poker chips. A stack of poker chips can also be seen on the table. If I recall correctly, the human jigsaw is the one that can just like, cut himself, right? Yeah, I mean, I know there's one that can just like, cut himself and then just it pops out. But there's like two that are similar in that regard. Self-inserting character, yes. Signing a copy of the Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. The room is filled with books and a person leaning in a corner, although only the hands are visible from behind a stack of thick bound. And then we have I am a toaster, yeah, resting on a table in the center of my containment cell. Remember, it's whenever they see the toaster, they refer themselves as the toaster. The photograph is zoomed in further than the location of photography would suggest, and has aspect ratio, quality, and distortion consistent with the front-facing camera of modern smartphones. I'm still a toaster. And we have 451. Mr. Lonely. What was Mr. Lonely again? Wasn't that? It's a former Foundation field agent who is now. Yes. Like, he doesn't see anybody else, but they all see him. It's the most hilarious one, to be honest. Weeping Side 19 cafeteria still weeps. SB 451 lies awake in the bunk in the Side 19 sleeping quarters, surrounded by other staff members. SB 451 exhibits a look of relief on his face. And then we have mobile veins, yeah. Testing that by 05. Testing that by 05. We're getting to the ones that I can recognize better. Animated cloth dummy, love that guy, helping with we should carry lab equipment. The photo is unchanged except for the fact that SB492 has the appearance of an actual human. 6 examples of critical tomatoes sitting in the bowl prior to testing. Now we're getting the flow, because the other ones, the previous ones, I feel like I memorized them easier because I had to make thumbnails for them. Maybe, and also because I read them for you guys now, so maybe that's a bit easier to keep in mind. Also, a lot of them I read while I was like half asleep, so I was like, reluctant dimension hopper, yeah, poor guy, eating cafeteria covers, working with foundation researcher over lunch, subject is stressed as a foundation researcher, yes. 516 is intelligent tank, yeah, sitting in its garage, walking under the trees in the meadow with birds perched on its main gun and flowers growing all over its chassis. The transformational tomb of Cheeky phone booth. That's if I recall correctly, that's the one that it's a telephone booth that will ask you to correct someone to call by name. It will then comment on the conversation. Let me see the thumbnail I made for this one. Wait, it's easier if I do this. Bam. Let's see here. 50, please. I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I did. Which number was this? 519. That's a while ago. That's 5. Okay, here we go. Here we have 5. Never mind. I didn't do the. That's when with 500 I started reading them in a batch. So I didn't do a thumbnail for that one. Don't fully remember this one, but I do remember there were a couple photo booths when I started like making this for YouTube and Twitch. So Mount Under is wall, no change. 524 is Walter, yeah. Gnawing on the steel girder in its habitat, gnawing on a block of granite in its habitat. 527 Mr. Fish, yes. Watering a small pot of cactus, a muscular SCP-527 wielding a large trident stands triumphant atop the breech carcass of a large serpentine creature. SCP-644, SCP-2148, SCP-2284, and SCP-2396 stand around the defeated sea monster, cheering and applauding SCP-527, and SCP-527 is still wearing its suit and top hat in the photograph. SCP-529 is Chelsea the half cat, yes. Grooming herself in a different position. SB529 is shown as whole rather than bisected. Is that a desire, or is that how she sees herself though? Maybe, well, it is a desire, right? Singing gramophone, yes. Playing its record. Seated on a log in a swamp opposite the frog. Kirby is holding a banjo as in the opening musical sequence in the Muppet movie. 542 is Herr Chirurg, yeah. Master, I mean, if I recall correctly, there's a German doctor named Herr who made of parts of different bodies. It's mainly general cooperative, but sometimes, the Frankenstein character who choked a woman in the hotel room because because his body parts each individually die off slowly, so he has to like find new ones. Doing a crossword puzzle, exchanged with several individuals recognizable as Foundation personnel. So ice spiders. Drinking water out of a dish in its terrarium, eating an anole lizard. Ursa minor, if I recall correctly, isn't that like it's a very, very tiny bear, right? Yeah. It's a very, very tiny bear. Rubbing its hindquarters against a tree in its terrarium, mating. Of course. It's a bear, so what else do you expect from it? The pipe, yep. Laying in its containment, expunged. It appears as if 573 is indeed sentient in the case. And then we have 59. He feels your pain. What was that one again? As a 16-year-old boy that can absorb the injury and yeah. His face is subject is playing with books. SB590 faces closer up to the camera, filling the entire photo. His hands are displayed as if pressed against the lens. His mouth is open and tears fills his eyes. What the fuck? That is kind of creepy. Dorian the Grey Cat. What was the Dorian? Wasn't that the cat that it's a house cat that chooses a person to bond with? If the cat dies, the person dies as well. After that, the cat comes back to life and bonds with the next person. Yeah, this little shithead. Now we have a cat that bonds with you, and then you die, and we also have a dog that bonds with you, and then you hear voices that want you to commit suicide. Being restrained while having its ears cleaned, lying dead alongside the mutilated bodies of the personnel engaged in cleaning its ears. Okay, well, fuck. 945 is Mouth of Truth, which, as you can see, doesn't have an explained question. Mouth of Truth. I don't remember what the. See in its containment chamber in testing. See in what appears to be original location in Italy. It is surrounded by a large crowd of weeping people, all of whom had both hands severed. 14 are unidentifiable as Foundation personnel. 9 have been identified as current and former Italian political figures. Stalling statue. What's the stalling statue again? It's a black mannequin that will fall anyone when they are not looking. When they face it, it will always make a threatening pose but not harmed. Yes! Yeah, that little... the jump scare statue, I remember him now. SB650 is standing in its containment chamber faced away from the camera in a neutral position, facing in front of the camera in a threatening pose. Sure, of course it is. 662, Butler's handbill. Posing for the camera, no change. 665... The garbage man, which was the is a man who gets fused by any object that he touches. Sorry, what was that? Yeah. Drinking his evening meal, walking free and unencumbered. 682, well we know. Contained in a holding tank. Was shown surrounded by several dead personnel mauling the cameraman. Well, that was predictable. Very much so. 698. Judgmental turtle. Sending in sparks, no change for the photographer. Waited 5 minutes and 25 seconds. And before being told that using SB97 on. Yeah, it was pointless. Okay, yeah, that's what it does. It judges you. My worry is now. The rest won't make sense if we pass the 900. So I guess I'll just have to read it normally. For now, we can actually understand perfect porcelain doll. She breaks very quickly. If she's not repaired quickly, it will start to become very quick. Oh yeah. Wait, did I made a thumbnail for that one, right? Was I not? Isn't this the? Is this the? Hold on. Now hold the fucking. Also, by the way. Oh, that hurts. That hurts, guys. I mean, that one I understand. That one hurts. Ow. Wow. Ow. Damn. It's not. This is this one, huh? I don't think do I still have the thumbnail somewhere? Let's see here. I should have it right here. Yeah. I vaguely remember this one. Wasn't she like... She tried to be like always perfect. Yeah, I think... Oh well. Maintaining appearance, a human male and female matching the description of SB706 appearance of holding a now human SB706 while sitting on a sofa. Okay. Then we're jumping to 805. Poison woodfall, yes. Frolicking on its paddock, being patted and hugged by smiling humans, and one of whom it astride its back. And Swan Woman, yeah. Looking at the camera, a human woman with the same height, build, and facial features as SB811, bright yellow ribbons into her hair, and wearing blue sundress. 882 is a machine, yes. Testing denied by order of Dr. Gears. Testing denied by order of Dr. Gears. 887 is the hypergraph. Yeah, that's the person who can never stop drawing or writing. Writing in a notebook, a list of names and numbers subsequently identified as every member of the Parliament of Lithuania, current and former, beginning at independence from the Soviet Union, and their birth weight in grams. 887 again, I guess. Writing in a different notebook later the same day, a list of names tentatively identified as attendees of the 1969 Woodstock Musical Festival in reverse alphabetical order. When shown these photographs, SB887 expressed gratitude as those have been transcribed for him and requested to be photographed regularly as well as to recover from virus cramp. Requested under consideration. 8. The rocket surgeon, yeah. Seated at the desk in its cell reading a non-classified medical journey. No, SB879 is visible on the desk in front of SB890. SB890 is rolling its eyes and pointing to the door to its cell. When shown the photograph, SB890 showed that although it would never actually be that rude to the patient, it has no time for hypochondriacs. Mr. Chameleon, yep, standing in its containment chamber, protocol is unchanged with the exception that SB905 appears to be human and fully clothed. Well, that we know that which one that is. Out between tests, picture frames, 914's constant both booths, no change. Careful analysis of the picture shows 914's knobs is pointing to the 6th setting after verifying the label for that thing is not readable. Oh boy. It wants a new setting. Are you shitting me? We already have to deal with the bullshit you have with every other setting you have right now. Then we have 966, which is sleep killer. Yep. 1 through 4, moving around. -2, -2 resting on the floor. -3 cleaning its claws with its tongue. -4 walking around the room. Mating with so -1 moving around. -2 moving around. -2. Okay, now I get it. Okay. -1 mating with -2 feeding on a deer corpse. -3 stalking on an undefined human. -4 resting in a jungle-like environment. It seems to prove that although humanoid, SB966 specimens do not have human-level intelligence, possessing any simple desires normally seen on other animals. SB978, which is pointed at the standard mirror, men's room 4B, junior researcher. Oh fuck. Sitting in office, the researcher's name is visible on the office door. SB978, pointed at a standard mirror, research room 12C, operated by automated device, not sentient creatures within and outside. Photograph did not develop. Second and third attempts yield same result. Okay, now we're reaching the part where doesn't matter anymore, basically, because hold on. I have to see something. Is this? This better be not the. Good, we're good. So now, all these tests here won't make any sense to us because we never, we haven't experienced or read any of these, so none of these will make sense to me. How far does it go? Does it go like all the way to like? Yeah, like. I can read like the D class and the subjects here, but I think the SCP stuff here won't make any sense. I was just reading a bunch of stuff that like I'm like, okay, like for example here, let's see here. Floating with Crater Lake, scene was completely changed, a large hemlock tree. I don't know. So I think we should just skip the rest and now read D class testing, and here we have D11424, eating the cafeteria, D11424, scuba diving near coral reef, accompanied by a woman and an adolescent girl that subject and defined as his wife and daughter. D1424 was allowed to keep the photograph. D21717, a late stage SCP-217 subject sitting in her cell taking prescribed painkillers, kneeling in front of the tall obelisk has been fully, D17 has been fully converted by SB217. D23192, reading the pornographic magazine while wearing a helmet made from SCP-148. Photograph appears blurry and distorted, but appears to involve nude human figures. In the center of the photograph, the outline of a man reading a magazine can be faintly distinguished. This all appears to indicate kill interference. Further tests involving SCP-148 are forbidden by order of O5. D7294, seated in his cell. Subject is playing a makeshift cello, which appears to have been constructed from the body of a female mannequin. A second cello lies broken in the corner of the cell. D952, sitting alone in the side 56 exercise yard with a neutral expression on her face. D952 is openly weeping. The sky is noticeably overcast. D432 blind, sitting in the test chip, an image of a hardware line with large reel-to-reel audio recording and playback machines bearing the Polaroid logo. The company is not known to have ever made device of this nature. The hallway is unlit except for a ray of light extending from where the image is being taken, akin to a flashlight, making the length of the hallway undetermined. Has she answered? No, she has not. Okay. D433, brain dead but biologically alive via life support, laying in a hospital bed connected to machines. The same room with empty limp skin, replacing D433. D434 it is worth noting after integration into the D-class program, D434 became highly pathetic and has no determinable warrant. Sitting on the floor, looking down, lying on the same floor with dimmer lights. Okay, testing with Foundation personnel in possession. Dr. Jack Bright engaged in a heated discussion with Dr. Clef. Only Dr. Bright is caught by the camera. Entire scene has changed. It appears to be outside, sky in the background, grass in the foreground. Subject of picture simply a tombstone brain engraved, Jack Bright resting at last. I just want to die, dude. Dr. Clef walking away from the heated discussion with Dr. Bright, walking away from a heated discussion with Dr. Bright. Hair was replaced with an image of a hand with a raised middle finger, as expected, given Dr. Clef's unusual properties. Unexpected, however, was the inclusion of a small girl wearing a white dress in the background, sitting on a desk and swinging her feet with an expression of boredom on the face. And the identity of the child is currently unknown. Because the analysis of the photograph reveals that the structure previously believed to be shoes on the child's feet are in fact polished black cloven hoofs. Oh. One golden. Okay, let's quickly change this. Where is she? Here we go. Just need this a little bit. And now it's way too quick. One golden hamster, Charles, and Dr. Fisher, being held in Dr. Fisher's left hand. The hamster sleeping in a cage, of his hand is nowhere to be seen. One blue swivel office chair, positioned near and facing the corner, no change. Slide director actor standing next to the researcher combination Navarro, discussing material related to SCP. The subject is standing between two men in what appears to be the top row of the section of bleachers outdoors. The shoulders of the man is laughing and pointing at something out of frame. The other has his hands in his pockets and actors is smiling wildly. Dr. Berggren taking the first bite of the garden salad in the Side 19 cafeteria at precisely 10:45 a.m. Laughing and eating side with Della Blues musician at precisely 10:45 a.m. I need to quickly text her. I need to ask her a question. Agent Mr. Bibbs standing in examination room 5233, attempting to convince staff that the experiment involving SCP will prove dangerous. Bibbs is standing with O5 outside of examination room 5233, who is smiling and patting a bit on the back in the background. bibs on the back. In the background, experiment staff are seen out of breath but relieved. SCP can be seen in the background with not as is normal. Everyone expects me to glow when I wind up being right. I only glow when people survive. Thank you very much. Oh god, it's so long. Dr. Cimmerian sitting at his desk reviewing. I'm going to read until like, because now it's midnight. I'm going to read until like 30 past midnight. Unless on that time comes and then I'm like super close to being done, then I might as well just finish it. Sitting at his desk reviewing containment procedures for SCP-2091, Dr. Cimmerian is shown on a dock with an unidentified lake in the background. Also shown is a man later identified as Dr. Cimmerian's late grandfather. Dr. Cimmerian is shown holding a large fish up for the camera while both men smile. Research Assistant Corbett sitting at desk eating corn nuts, initially thought to be unchanged. However, Research Assistant Corbett was able to inform researchers that the nameplate on this desk had been changed from Research Assistant Corbett to Research Corbett.
Emotional damage!
I felt this like massive itch in my ear and it felt uncomfortable, and then I accidentally smacked the shit out of my mic, and also my hand on the table, everything. Agent Davis, filing report for an undisclosed SCP object. Subject is seen with the front half of SCP-2952, which was protruding through a hole through the office floor. Davis is seen carrying SCP-2952 and appears to be highly pleased. I guess I really do love that dog. V.A. Eisenberg, KTH, running a set of experiments on SCP-836 samples. The photograph shows recall links sitting on a Russian troika type sled in nondescript snowy wilderness. The sled is pulled by Professor Crow, Dr. Bright, and SCP-953. Upon close inspection, the collar is seen to hold a tag with O513 engraving. Research Eisenberg pointedly refused to comment on the contents of the photograph. Dr. Chelsea Photosynthetic Elliott, sitting at a desk writing a report on the biology of plants produced by SCP-697, using a jeweler's loupe and her bare hands to examine a mat of live plant specimens produced by SCP-697. Dr. is not wearing a protective gear beyond her lab coat. Of course I wouldn't actually do that, I'm an idiot. Can't a woman dream? Research 4, a surprise and alarm covered subject face. Research 4 was taken by surprise while walking out of an observation of Kita level SCP. Picture shows Research 4 observing SCP with the photographer inside its containment unit. Research Assistant Fourier facing the camera with an expression of mild contempt. Photograph appears to be plain white except for the text U, printed neatly in the bottom right corner. Thanks, Doctor. Okay, let me just see what she said. Okay. Dr. Garcia and Patel standing side by side, facing the camera and smiling, facing each other with his hand wrapped around the other's throat. Dr. Gear standing in service hall A9, holding a file folder in his right hand, looking at the camera with no observable expression. Standing in service hall A9, holding a file folder in his right hand. Dr. Gears appears to have an expression of very mild amusement. His ID card also appears to have been signed with his signature as opposed to the standard Foundation barcode. Photo immediately seized by site security and remanded to custody. Request for return of photo denied. Dr. Simone Glass, subject is sitting in office writing psych reports with a neutral expression. Subject appears to be sitting on a picnic blanket in the park, laughing as a small beagle puppy licks his face. It's surrounding it by Site 19 and Site 17 personnel, including it. All pictures seem to be smiling, eating a variety of picnic foods and desserts, or engaging in a variety of leisurely activities. Junior researcher Hertz trimming beard in men's laboratory. Subject now with comparatively larger beard is seen kneeling over a large bronze-colored pot with whose unseen contents are copiously steaming. Subject is barefoot and clothed in what appears to be Israelite priestly garment. Behind him is a low wall overlooking a small desert city. A number of similar Dressed individual also visible. I was just looking at the brazen C, no corporate note or anything. That's disappointing, but I'll take what I can get. Dr. Huan sending a text message to her colleague in regards to said colleague's complaints of overtime work. Dr. Huan is pictured with her two younger brothers, junior researcher Hu Zi and Agent Hu Bao, side hugging one another and posing for a picture together. All three appear to be smiling towards the camera. Nobody, junior researcher Hu Zi appears to be standing on its own, and its prosthetic is not seen in the photograph. All three of them are wearing red colored attire, with Dr. Huan wearing a Cheonggasan red colored decoration also seen in the photograph. Dr. Called filling out the medical paperwork, very bored expression on the face, one eye looking at the cameraman, eyebrow raising ire. Foreground show a man in combat fatigue with a gut wound. Dr. Call can be seen in the background sprinting in the general direction of the man. A first aid kit is held on one hand. Dr. Call appears to be shooting somebody with a pistol in hand, held in his other hand. The large section of surrounding are stupidly enshrouded in fire. I knew I missed working in the field, but I didn't know my subconscious was this testosterone laden. I think we get this whole done before 30, maybe. Senior researcher Cassidy Kara on reality department sitting at the desk with an incomplete termination form in front of them. The room is empty. The form is visible in the nearby garbage can. Dr. King standing in the break room and smiling towards the camera. A close-up photograph on one apple seed. Is this the same Dr. King as from 914? Dr. Mark Kiryu sitting at the desk reading a stack of documents, sitting on the branch of a tree reading from a large book with an embossed cover. SB1457 appears to be perched on his head. Dr. Klein, photographed at desk, mixed expression of surprise and marked disapproval. Seated at desk, mixed expression of surprise and pleasure. Protruding from the bottom of the frame is a chocolate birthday cake. Agent Jonathan Lancelot, socializing with members of Mobile Task Force Epsilon prior to the operation. Lancelot is the only subject within the frame. Agent Lancelot is shirtless and covered in viscera of unknown origin, sitting on top of a rough hewn stone furniture piece of indistinct function. He appears to be telling a story to Agent Hay and Norman, who appear to be smiling and listening intently. On further examination, the PPE have been improperly equipped. Well, shit. Oops. Agent Kilroy McLeod, lacing a boot in preparation for a nighttime training exercise. Agent McLeod is sitting with his father and his younger brother at a campfire. Of note is the fact that the Agent McLeod fathers died in a vehicle accident, induced coma, while McLeod was deployed with the United States Air Force prior to his recruitment in the Foundation. Researcher Mark Metzger, sitting in almost 3 hours, sitting in break area while writing in personal journey. Appears to be a photographed piece of paper with SBO 85 and a drawing of Researcher Metzger embracing by all of director. Researcher Metzger is no longer allowed access to SB 85 and is to undergo psychiatric evaluation. Researcher Corona Media stood outside of SB 914 testing her before scheduled experiment. Have we met her yet? No, we haven't seen her in the 914 experiments. Research Materials is sat in an untidy room playing a game on a laptop. She appears slightly young in the image. Only such a good crack. Agent Miller, repairing equipment for a collection mission, engaged in a firefight with soldiers wearing Nazi insignias. I watch too many war films, don't I? Dr. Lyle Naismith, eating lunch in the Side 59 cafeteria. Posing for a hunting picture with his daughter Penny in the Side 59 cafeteria. Both are dressed in orange vests and hats. Penny holds a youth-grade hunting rifle, while Dr. Naismith gives a thumbs up as he holds the corpse of researcher who has sustained at least 7 separate bullet wounds to the head. No hard feelings, I swear. It was just the first guy that came to my mind. Research Assistant Reject, sitting at his desk, filing paperwork. Desk is cleared off. Chair is empty. Research Assistant Reject is nowhere inside. It appears that a metal desk has more personality than senile bastard doctor. Senior Technician, Technical Research. I'm tired. Senior Technical Researcher David Rosen approving requisition forms. A supervisor is in the room with him. Sitting at his desk, eyes closed. The window behind him is broken. There's nobody else in the office. How many more do you think? Oh, we're almost done. Okay, we're almost done. Dr. Conrad Scott listening to the recording of SB058's vocalization, taking notes. So you see that a metal table in a small bare room, a black robe figure with a conical hood, possibly SB1981-1 is seated opposite him. Dr. Scott appears to be taking notes as if interviewing the hooded figure. Dr. Scott was previously assigned to SB1981 before his transfer to Biocontainment Area 14. Junior researcher Steven sitting in the cafeteria waving at the camera. The subject is using a flamethrower to burn SCP-1048 and SCP-1048-A-C is in 4 pieces in the background. Still wish I'd never heard about that bear. It gives me the creeps. Well, we're gonna learn about that bear very soon. Researcher Talloran speaking to Agent Contracti, who is not visible in the shot. Researcher Talloran appears to be female in the picture. Image is otherwise unchanged. Agent Raven Contracti speaking to Mr. Talloran, who is not visible in the shot. Agent embracing his father, the late Benjamin. A lot of people just want to spend time with family. Huh? Dr. Trebuchet reading incident report 811 at her desk, sleeping at her desk. But sleep can go itself. I've got work to do. You say that. Passed out at her desk after 89 straight hours of transcribing interview logs. A small puddle of drool is forming on the paper under her head, still transcribing interview log. So when she's awake, she wants to sleep. When she sleeps, she wants to work. Subconsciously. Dr. Vang taking his anti-anxiety medication, leaning against the doors to a containment cell and holding a key, grinning. The face of former governor of is seen pressed up against a small window in the door. Dr. Wepler discussing research regarding SCP-2842 with Dr. A still frame from the music video of the song Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Ashley showing the information singer. I'm burning this picture. Why? Like, you rickrolled yourself, my man. You have nothing to... Researcher Heskel Yarkoni drafting documentation for URA 4947, relaxing on the living room sofa alongside his wife, Dr. Rivka Yarkoni, as the twin daughters collaborate on what appears to be graduate level coursework. Several abnormally large annulate corpses are mounted on the walls. Custodial technician detected, mopping the floors after a coffee spill. Scene identical, except instead of oil, there is a puddle of red liquid with several stalks tipped with human eyes pointed in seemingly random direction. Applied for custodial service in low-risk containment chambers at one point. Mobile task force ETA 10, see no evil. Standing casual clothing with neutral expression, totally black except for the text. Data sealed by order of that and 10 command in the center, which apparently goes both way. Detected mobile task force beta 7 mass hatters standing in casual clothing with neutral expression. The room is much cleaner. And Dr. Dim sitting on a bench. Dr. Dim was holding a newspaper on his left hand and an unknown brand of cigarettes on his right hand. Dr. Dim is seemingly high on the cigarettes. He was smoking cigarettes presumed to be J. Can we not talk about this again? Dr. Dim. SCP-3... well, I don't know what this one does. So, and there we go. Took me a bit, but we finished it. We finished it. I would say here we go. Here it is. The recursive room. I think it's just very fascinating because, again, I know it has been done to death by now, but I'm glad to see that something that existed from way back then is as creative as it is. We have so many similar concepts of like the room repeating itself with minor changes, but I'm glad to see that it's doing that, but it's adding this like extra bit where you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And the fact that this came out before, PT as well, just makes you realize, like, damn, this guy had a creative idea before, like, it became popular, It's impressive. It's impressive to see that. Smokey is just terrifying. I don't care who you are. I'm pretty sure everybody would be uncomfortable with the idea of being absolutely, like, high-speed chase by a cop car when you haven't done anything wrong. It just does it out of nowhere. And then you look behind you or look in the rear mirror to look at his face. And all you can see is just pure red eyes and a gaping hole as a mouth as he's yelling at you, probably through like the transceiver, that like, oh, you better keep fucking running. And you're like, what the hell is happening? Who is this guy? What is this guy? The Stormware Rabbit. The rabbit figure is very adorable, but of course he's scared of us, so it's not an adorable moment for him, but it's very well done. Like whoever, like if that's like a actual figure that somebody made out of clay or out of anything else, or if that's like a thing that's like rendered by 3D rendered, it looks really good. Whoever did that, props to you. It looks really cool. But yeah, like the feeling of being exposed to this, and then like next thing you know, you think that you hear, smell, and feel, and only a little bit see a creature constantly with you, like almost touching you, but not fully. But you can tell it is there, and you lose sleep for it. No, thank you. This is also like the third SCP recently that has to do with like robbing your sleep. Of course, in overall, there's a lot. There's probably like 15 that I read so far, but because there's like the one of the sleep killers and some there's some other ones that just prevent you from sleeping. They just don't want you to sleep. Treehouse Predator. I think the idea of a child being killed is always very brutal, but then also this child being killed and then imitated by this SCP, just so he can do this again with somebody else, is horrifying. I'm not a parent, not yet. Who knows when I will be, but I can imagine how horrifying this must be for like a parent's point of view. And then of course this fucking SCP decided, like, you know what? Fuck being a child. I'm gonna be a grown ass adult now. And I don't care about flames anymore. So the one weakness is useless. The security station. I think that's like the security station feels like a typical like nightmare scenario, right? Like you wake up in a place you don't know, and you're like, okay, let me just walk out, but for some reason you can't walk out because the fucking building shifts and morphs and changes all the time. So in entirety, you're taking your entire dream is just in this one spot, this one building, and you can sense that maybe something else is in that building, or you can even see that something else is in that building, but you can't really do anything because you have no idea how to get out. The side camera, I think that now that I've read some of the experiments, of course I haven't read them all as you guys saw, but I read all of them that at least would make sense to me to read. It's a fun idea. It's a fun idea, but man, it's risky. It's risky using that to any of like your colleagues, because it might show something that you like weren't prepared. Some dark desire. Yeah. It's all fast food delivery. Don't order it. Don't order from it. Just don't. It kills animals without them even realizing why. It just takes away flesh and all that from them in a way that you cannot see it. And who knows I wonder if the animals feel it. That would be fucked. Immunity, yeah. Guy will never be sick. He will never be sick, but you can also not be around him for too long, because something with your body might happen. Subway frogs, yeah, the alien frogs. They just want to move, bro. They had enough of the current hotel they're in. They just want to take a different space, please. And an enormous hard drive. Honestly, more useful than useless. But of course, there was that 1 to 2 doctors that died after reading a certain file. So gotta be careful with it. But it can be very useful. You can definitely see data from other realities. But maybe one of those data will help you with a certain SCP that you have to deal with. Who knows? But yeah, that's basically today's reading of SCPs. Good 3 hour long. Of course, I changed it up a little bit with like the reading 978's experiment log last instead of first and then reading 979, but oh well, that doesn't matter that much. I'm a bit sad now seeing that my Attack on Titan reaction video got actually like very disliked. I'm not sure what it is that people dislike about it, but oh well, you know. It's only like dislike press. They probably just didn't like how I handled reactions, which is fine. Of course, I personally am the type of person who thinks like, if you don't like how I am as a reactor, you can just leave. You can just go and watch somebody else. But unless I made like a giant mistake in it, and I just didn't realize, and that's why I get disliked. I'd rather just people just tell me if I made a mistake though, than just pressing the dislike button. Like if they see like there's something wrong with the video and they're like, oh well, gotta press the dislike. Then I'm over here like, well, I don't know why I'm getting disliked because you're not really telling me shit. But maybe it's just because it's like the last episode of part 2 of the final season. So a lot of people have like see like a lot of reactors and they prefer how they react to it, and I'm just a bit different. So that could be it. I don't know. Oh well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's SCP reading. I see you guys will I see you guys Wednesday for stream? I have to double check that. I probably will stream anyway, but probably not together with Lexi because she's currently occupied. But we'll see about that. We'll see. Yeah, Wednesday we'll potentially stream. Thursday, Friday we'll stream again with Hades. Probably Friday something else though. I need to like figure that stuff out. And then next week we'll we actually finish the 900s of the SCP reading. Damn. Okay. we got by pretty quickly, I would say. All right. So once again, hope you enjoyed today's SCP reading. See you guys next time. I wish you all a beautiful morning, good morning, afternoon, evening, and the Afro's with you.